some summertime, that's nice. Hey, yeah, it's the IDP show, now you know.
Welcome to the IDP show. I'm your host, Josh Raymer, joined in the Sode Shack tonight. On my right, Adam Markham. On my left, wearing the shades, Bobby Reynolds. Gentlemen, how are we this evening?
Doing amazing. Doing very well.
I was going to say,
folks.
let me give you the solo cam. Look at this. Look at this gift that Jake Colhagen has blessed you with.
I have no business wearing this as a 35-year-old dad of two.
No way that you should ever put this on.
I think I do a pretty damn good job of it, though. I will say.
You're rocking it.
Pretty good.
There's
pretty
no
hot.
doubt.
Pretty hot.
You got to check out the YouTube, folks, to see this shirt in all of its glory. But, Bobo, he is pulling it off with next to no effort.
Man, that's approaching Edge 1 category there for me for old Jalen. He's raising in the ranks just because of the shirt.
I mean, it's not a real kind of modest shirt at all. It is loud and in your face, and it's glorious.
The only thing that would have been better was the shirtless stretching in the end zone in Buffalo picks. That
we
would
could
have
have
really
got some
gotten it
abs
going.
on there.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I'm horny enough as it is just looking at this thing. So if there were abs on that shirt, we'd probably have to cancel the episode.
Yeah, shout out to our boy Jake Colhagen, though. Just the best gift I think I've ever received.
Truly. I mean, one of the most thoughtful.
Yeah.
You are the original Jalen Phillips stan, so you should be the one to christen your body with this shirt.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Amazing. I love it.
I thought when he said he's going to send you a shirt, I thought it was going to be a Cam Curl shirt.
Yeah.
And I thought...
I've been mean about the Cam Curl stuff.
Yeah, a lot of people. Streets are talking.
Yeah.
People are upset.
Yeah, I'm going to forgive him now. I mean, now I won't ever say another bad thing about Cam Curl again. So.
He's on the Cam Curl train, folks.
Love you, Jake.
All it took was a little bit of bribery. So, well, we have a jam-packed episode for you all tonight, so we are going to get right into it. We are doing another preseason week 2 training camp, all the stuff that has been percolating since the last time we got together, Bobo, and it has been quite a bit. And we're going to go team by team again. Does that sound all right to you?
No, I mean, we're here.
We're here.
Might as well.
Might as well just do it. So let's jump in with the AFC West. We're going in the same order because that's how the doc was set up. And we're going to start with the Las Vegas Raiders. Defensive end Tyree Wilson activated off the NFI list. This is huge, folks. Max Crosby, Chandler Jones are ahead of Tyree Wilson on the depth chart. Barring injury, that'll remain the same when the season starts. The plan, this is important, is for Wilson to serve as a third pass rusher this year while also having the ability to rotate inside to defensive tackle on passing downs. The Raiders want him to contribute, of course, but 2023 will be more about learning from Crosby and Jones, refining his game, and preparing himself to step into a larger role moving forward. That's from Tashawn Reed at The Athletic. Addy, this is exactly what we expected for Tyree Wilson.
Yeah, I mean, we said this, I think, a month ago. I think you asked if I was worried about, him not being out there yet. No, we knew this all along. We knew that he was coming into this year with an injury or recovering from one. And so, yeah, it's going to be probably a year before we really see Tyree Wilson unleashed. Also, you got to think that probably Chandler Jones isn't coming back next year. So, yes, 2024 is going to be Tyree Wilson's season, but I think we'll see some flashes this year too.
Yeah, that's my thinking, Bobo. We're going to see flashes, but we're not going to see the whole picture of what Tyree Wilson's going to be in 2023.
I mean, that team's going to suck anyway, so what difference does it really make? I think Tyree Wilson is kind of a nice little stash or maybe even a nice little acquire early in the season. Yeah. People are kind of, antsy. They're not being very patient with this guy. He could be a nice little finish to 2023. Week 8 and on, he could be a nice little grab.
Yeah, we've talked about it before. If you've got a veteran, you're a non-contending team, you're looking to kind of restock the pantry with some younger talent, flip one of these edge rushers or linebackers or whoever to a contender and scoop you up a Tyree Wilson. He's not going to be contributing to anyone's roster early in the season, it sounds like. Yep. So
people are going to also realize how bad Chandler Jones was last year.
I think he will be gone. I haven't looked at that contract, but I have to imagine the Raiders are pushing the eject button as soon as they possibly can on this dude.
I'm a little in.
Okay.
In it
I
costs,
mean, he's like,
right?
Right. He's like edge 60 or whatever in these best balls. So
let me get the ADP pulled up.
I mean, I could see like a little. I've heard that he's slimmed up. He's looking a little quicker this year. So.
He's going to get a ton of volume. I mean, he's going to see the field a lot.
This is what he does. He has these years where he has, 3 sacks, and then he'll have 12 the next. So you never know. It was like last year with Brandon Graham. We saw him just kind of have 11 sacks out of nowhere. These guys can do that.
And then rupture an Achilles, I believe Brandon Graham did.
Yeah, he is edge 55, DL 73, 167 overall. So that's like
who cares?
You're looking at around the same range as like Arden Key, Michael Hecht.
Yeah. I mean, obviously,
Danico Autry.
Oh yeah, at
Carl
that range,
Lawson.
it's fine.
obviously you're not going to draft him in like your redraft leagues, but he's someone that you can maybe plug and play, like, you know, in a good matchup or something.
If
He could
that's
pop
like
off
my-
for 3 in a game. That's
As
what he
a-
does.
If that's my I've taken him as a fifth or sixth DL because
Yeah.
he's I think risen a little bit as
Yeah,
the
right.
Tyree Wilson hype has died down. But
Yeah, we're talking about leagues, you know, where you start 4 and then like he would be like your 5th or 6th on the bench.
Yes, exactly. Well, let's talk about another player that could be nice sort of bench depth. I don't know that you necessarily want him in your starting lineup, but it looks like Robert Big Bob Spillane has the green dot with Divine Diablo on the field. If this is the case headed into the season, Spillane's value goes up with a 3-down roll. That is from our boy Mikey Dubs at 4 for 4. So we kind of wonder, this preseason action is in large part to tell us who are the linebackers on the field in 2 linebacker sets and who has the green dot. Sounds like Big Bob Spillane is the dude with the dot in Las Vegas.
He was this week. You know, I think we got to chill out a little bit, you know. I mean, he's never really manned that 100% of the snaps role. So, Devon Diablo is good. He is young. They're going to be
That's still the linebacker I want.
They're going to be trying different stuff. I mean, I do love Spillane. I mean, I may want Spillane. I mean, just because he's going in like that 50 to 60 range too.
LB 58.
So, yeah, I mean, if he gets 70% of the snaps, that's fine. You know,
Divine Diablo's LB 37 though. That's still very nice.
We're in a world now where we can't always get these 100% of the snap guys, right? But I mean, there is still, think about Singleton last year. Think about Jermaine Pratt. Like, there's still these guys that are Denzel Pearman. There's still these guys that can be ultra productive, even though they're not getting, you know, 100% of the snaps. So,
Yep.
I'm fine with those types.
Yeah, absolutely. Very valuable. Nice, like we said, bench depth. You're not drafting Big Bob Spillane to be a starter, but if he is going to have the dot, I don't disagree
Yeah.
with Mike that his value does go up because he's probably going to be on the field
Yeah, and
all
if
3 downs.
If he gets drafted in the 40s, that's still a good value. I'll still be
Yes.
fine with that. You know?
Yes.
I love those linebackers from like.
It's so nice.
Everyone check the Twitter out if you haven't. But,
Yes, you put out a great thread with some of your favorite values from the ADP.
But those linebackers from like 30 to 50 are just so perfect. Like the Troy Andersons, the Caden Ellises, the Quincy Williams, the Shaq Thompsons,
Yes, it
Jermaine
is.
Pratt's, Denzel Pearman.
Yeah, it's
just
like
so good.
LB 28, Eric Kendricks. Then you drop down Alex Singleton, Troy Anderson, Levante David, Jordan Hicks, Aziz Al-Shaair, Devin Lloyd, Jamin Davis, Caden Ellis, Divine Diablo.
It's beautiful. Like,
That's a great stretch.
There's going to be a lot of those guys that at the end of the year they're in that top 12 category.
Some of the top 12 guys are coming from those I
Yes,
just read.
Absolutely. Like my strategy is, I think you want to get like one bona fide stud.
I
You know,
agree.
if you can get yourself like a Devin White or something in the second, and let him like kind of be like your linebacker anchor or whatever, and then get a bunch of those, get 3 or 4 of those types from in that range, you know, that we just talked about.
Yep, absolutely. Well, keeping it moving, going to the Kansas City Chiefs. They've officially wrapped up their 2023 training camp. Star defensive tackle Chris Jones missed every second of it as he continues his holdout for a contract extension. As long as his holdout lasts, he will continue to accumulate a fine of $50,000 per day through Sunday, September 3rd. His holdout could end up costing Jones almost $3 million. Jones is still under contract, and they can't waive those fines anymore. You have to pay those fines. Jones is still under contract for 2023, expected for the season. However, how impactful he will be after missing all of training camp and OTAs, yet to be seen. From Mark Powell at MSN.com. Bobo, you worried at all about Chris Young and this contract holdout?
You should be. I think this affects a lot of that team, you know, and I think that the holdout for Chris Jones really makes a lot of sense because he knows how valuable he is to that defensive line. You've let a lot of the veterans go in Frank Clark and in, gosh, I forget who else was there last year.
Dunlap.
There you go. Dunlap is gone. So now you're really reliant on second-year George Karlaftis and now maybe first-year Felix Andubuike. I think I think that Chris Jones knows how valuable he is to that
He has
team.
tons of leverage.
He has a lot of leverage. And, not only that line, but also the defense. I mean, Chris Jones affects a lot of the way the Kansas City Chiefs play on defense. And it's also really hard for him to sit there and see the season that he came off of in 2022, and then to see guys like Jeffrey Simmons, Quinnen Williams, Aaron Donald a couple years ago, guys that are very much in his caliber as far as the defensive tackle, get paid, and he's just kind of sitting there and,
just waiting. And I think he'll get paid because he does have leverage. And I think you could make the case he's the second most important player on the Chiefs behind Mahomes.
Yep.
You obviously make a case for Kelsey as well. But I am worried about maybe a slow start, maybe a little bit of rust since he hasn't played football since the Super Bowl. But I think he gets paid. I think he's out there week 1.
That's a great point. Even offensively, aside from IDP, I've been having a conversation with some friends about what do you do with Jonathan Taylor in fantasy? What do you do with Josh Jacobs? What do you do with a guy like Chris Jones? What do you do with some of these Rashawn Gary? Some of these guys who are kind of getting a slower start, whether it be contract reasons or whether it be injury.
I think I know where you're going to go. I think you had a little poll question
I do.
that you put out on the Twitter sphere.
Yeah, we put a poll involving Mr. Chris Jones. It was Dynasty Trade, Defensive Tackle Edition. Which side? Jalen Carter or Chris Jones?
Now, that is, I think, appropriately pointed out, context specific, right?
Sure.
But I don't think the gap between what you're getting from Chris Jones versus what you're getting from Jalen Carter this year is that big. I don't think it's like you're getting nothing from Jalen Carter and Chris Jones is a locked and loaded like top 3 defensive tackle. I think it's very, very clearly for me, Jalen Carter. That's who I voted for.
Yeah. Bob?
But if you're contending, Chris Jones is nice.
That's a good point. I'm probably going Jalen Carter.
It's dynasty, so it's like
we also forget Chris Jones can be kind of frustrating at times.
Yes.
He can be either big or you're getting a tackle a
you're
game.
getting 2 points or 42 points.
It can be really frustrating, but I agree with kind of where Adam's trending in these ranks that Jalen Carter is on the rise for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of had a little bit of awakening over the weekend. Just, there's 7 years in age between the two difference. So, Chris Jones is 29 already, 22 for Jalen Carter. And I do think Jalen Carter is going to be a safer asset for us. I think he's going to have a higher tackle floor. I could see him being a 60 tackle type, right? Mm-hmm. And just a little more consistent.
Yeah.
But also I think he does have a high ceiling too.
And you're walking into, Javon Hargrave's role on a nasty defensive line. I mean,
Yes.
that needs to be taken into consideration as well.
You probably would have been like a 3rd overall pick had it not been for the off the field stuff.
I think if there weren't off the field stuff, there could have been a case made to take him over Will Anderson, over CJ Stroud.
First defensive player off the board.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Where were you at during the awakening? Were you golfing? Were you at Kenny? This reminds me of my mower thoughts. I'm just kind of mowing.
Where
and just
is
gotta
Adam when his
shut the mower
epiphany
down
happens?
and think,
I don't remember. I've been in the ranks a lot lately.
I got
so
you.
I'm just
He was in the sheets,
just thinking about that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, in the sheets.
Absolutely.
laying in bed in the spreadsheets.
But in my opinion,
double sheets.
the move is if that type of move is sent to you, I think you got to take Jalen Carter.
Yeah.
Just because there's a chance that if he does start the year on fire, you're not getting Jalen Carter anymore.
The price is low right now.
Yeah.
And if this guy does even a little bit of what we saw in one snap for him in the preseason game,
Yes.
This is a top 3 defensive tackle.
Also, keep in mind, I am looking at your ranks, which are on the website, theidpshow.com. But Chris Jones is 29.2 years old. Jalen Carter, 22.4 years old.
7 years difference.
Take that into consideration. The other thing I want to talk about real quick, too, Josh, before you get in here, is the Chiefs' 2024 cap space. And my computer is so intelligent that everything basically just jumped off my screen. There it is. It's back. The Chiefs have $52 million in cap space for next season, which is about top 12, somewhere in there. But if you think about players they need to pay, Willie Gay, Nick Bolton, L'Jarius Sneed, I don't know offensively who they need to pay, but if they pay Chris Jones a bag, that eats into that $52 million pretty quick.
They have the room for it. I think the linebackers are where they'll have to make a decision. But you could see, right, like a 3-year, $75 million deal for Chris Jones, get him 25 a year. I don't think he's going to get the 30 he wants, but I think he could get 3 years, 75.
Yeah,
that seems reasonable. I'd be fine having Chris Jones locked up to big money for 3 more years,
which is really a 2-year deal. Give him a deal while he's 29 and 30, and then
have the dead money drop out at the end of after the second year.
Yep.
So let's talk about the linebackers. Speaking of, we've been wondering how this linebacker rotation is going to shake out, and for my dynasty shares of this player, I have been thrilled to see that it has been Willie Gay and Nick Bolton as the 2 stalwart linebackers on the field. Drives 1 through 3. It was 15 snaps from the Week 2 preseason game. Bolton, all 15. Willie Gay, 13. Leo Chenal, 6. 4th drive, 3 snaps. Drew Tranquil, Leo Chenal, Jack Cochran. That is from John Macri at PFF. So, what do we think about this, boys?
I'm not making much of it.
Same here.
I think it's a big deal. I think it's indicative of... Now, is it how the season is going to go the whole year? No, of course not. Like, who knows what's going to happen? But I think to start the season, we are going to see the deployment we saw from the Chiefs at the end of last season.
Here's the thing. No one is taking either one of those guys right now or relying on any one of those guys right now outside of Nick Bolton. So you're just going to be able to wait and see kind of how it shakes out. Like it's not even something that you're really going to have to concern yourself with. But I mean, if they end up giving one of those 2 70% of the snaps, then that's the guy you probably need to target because I mean they will be productive, they will be useful. I mean, Willie Gay was very productive last year in that role. Yeah, he's a playmaking type. Like, I'm excited for Willie Gay, like post Kansas City when he can get out of this mess.
A little discount Dre Greenlaw.
Yeah,
he's a really good number 2 there.
I was going to say discount Devin White because he's sort of the playmaker type, right?
Don't hate that either.
So we'll see. I still think Drew Tranquil has value because if nothing else, he's one of the best injury handcuffs in all. But Leo Chenal, I mean, in the mix as well. So it's just a muddy room. I think we are depending on Nick Bolton. We feel good. Like we know he is the every down linebacker there. After that, though, big old question mark.
Also, though, like we're probably not drafting any of those guys. There's no reason to.
I'm not drafting Nick Bolton because he's too high for me, in my opinion. And then Willie Gay is still going a little too early for me, given the question marks.
There's just way too many, like we mentioned earlier, way too many better options that are good values.
You stand the most to lose when you draft Nick Bolton because if Spagnuolo does have some type of plan to get Drew Tranquil and Leo Chenal involved, it's not just going to come at the expense of Willie Gay. And even if it does, Willie Gay's ADP is so high that it's really not going to matter anyways. The problem is going to be if it starts eating into Nick Bolton's timeshare, then his ADP is like the number 7 IDP off the board. That ruins you. That's essentially like an offense. Like if you go with a wide receiver or running back or something in your draft and your running back gets hurt week 1, man, your season is so screwed.
How much Bolton you guys drafting?
I don't think I have any Bolton.
I have some. He's
a Bolton stan.
Yeah. I mean,
let him love.
I have a few where it's like if he
first
falls to
Bolton,
late first and the big 5, the big 6 like edges have gone.
I mean,
Foyer's gone.
ADP is 9.
Yeah.
He's right after. He is LB3 after Foyer after Roquan.
Too rich.
Finishing as the linebacker, what in 2023 do you see for Bolton? Could he be the linebacker?
If he gets every snap, I mean, top 5 is in the range of outcomes.
We'll say
likely.
We'll say linebacker 7.
Wagner going to be ahead of him.
I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know.
Roquan and Foyer are the only 2 that I feel confident that if those guys are healthy and play all 17 games, they are locked and loaded top 3 guys.
And there'll be some dark horses in there. It's like last year. And also we care about points per game wise. We're not really caring about finish.
Sure.
We want to know those guys that are giving us advantage on a weekly basis.
I'm just trying to think about the guys that I'm drafting over him. You're right. Foyer's going over him. I'm drafting Roquan over him.
It's just tough because right after him goes Hassan Reddick, Aiden Hutchinson, Brian Burns, Kayvon Thibodeau, Jalen Phillips. I'd rather have all those guys.
It's true.
And think last year it was like Josie Jewell, Frankie Louvu. Like those dudes were like top 5 in points per game. So it's like it's going to be someone we're not thinking of. It'll be either Ernest Jones or, someone like that.
Darian Beavers.
Sure.
Darian Beavers.
Might be.
It will be someone
Might
that we
be.
do.
Beaver season.
Nobody saw Frankie Louvu coming. Very few
No.
people saw Zaire Franklin coming. I mean, every year we're surprised by who the top 12 guys are.
Yep.
So let's move to the Chargers. The most prominent development from Sunday's loss was the play of one of the rookie defenders the Chargers drafted in April. Second-round pick, Dayon Henley. I like the way Dayon played. Staley said, I thought he was aggressive. I think you'll see what an outstanding tackler he is. He can really feel the run game. He's physical, outstanding in the blitz game. Henley got the start at linebacker. Eric Kendricks and Kenneth Murray Jr. both had the night off, so Henley had the green dot for most of the night, meaning he was relaying the plays to the defensive huddle. This has got me hot in the pants, boys. I think Henley overtakes Kenneth Murray sooner rather than later this season.
Yeah, he's already got some really nice plays out there on film.
He looks comfortable. He looks confident. He looks like he knows what he's doing.
And have you listened to like his pressers and stuff? Guy's fun.
Is he?
He's like Jamal Williams type fun.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah.
I like that.
I think they're just tired of Kenneth Murray. I think they've done this for a couple years now. Staley's over it.
Yeah. They signed Eric Kendricks and drafted Dayon Henley.
Yeah.
That tells you what they think of Kenneth Murray.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Henley's looking like maybe the best linebacker value from the rookies, right? Because he
Agreed.
kind of, I
Absolutely.
think everyone was kind of like, I don't know. He was like, I got him at 401 in our RSO league.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of leagues where I saw he was going in the 4th round.
He was right ahead of like Overshown, but then right behind, like, I think I took Trenton Simpson ahead of him.
Yeah, Simpson's typically going ahead.
And I mean, he's already worth probably a second. Like, no, you're not going to trade him for a third.
100%. That was I literally have looked at trading for Henley, as much as I hate to say it.
I know it. And I
'Cause
knew
it's
that was
gonna
going to
happen one day. And I have a really spicy second, which I love you, Aaron, but I think it'll be a good pick.
think it'll be 201.
Hey, there's a reason I got Aaron's first.
20,
We love you though, brother.
You know he doesn't listen. LB63, Dayon Henley right now. So the only other linebacker I would say that has a better chance to produce than him year one is Jack Campbell, and he's LB26.
And you had to
So-
get him at like 205.
Yeah, you're
Yes.
taking him in the second round of
Late
your rookie
first
drafts.
in some places,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
He
and
is-
one QBs.
The 70th pick in best ball.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, versus, Henley you're looking at is the 189th pick.
And I thought about this. The
No
other-
brainer.
I thought about this the other day too. Like sometimes I kind of like the slow play with the linebackers, like as opposed to Jack Campbell being alongside of Malcolm and Alex. Like he ain't got nobody to learn from. Like this guy's getting
Yeah.
thrown to the wolves week one, But Dayon, like I know Eric Kendricks is a little bit older, but he is a vet. He's been a good linebacker. He's gonna be a good guy to play alongside, a lot like Ernest Jones, who got to play alongside Bobby Wagner, and now he gets to run by himself for next season. So even though it's not as fun for year one, I think for the long haul, it makes guys like this have a better career.
It's true. We talk about situations all the time. That's why we like Tyree Wilson so much, because he gets to
Yeah.
learn alongside Max Crosby and Chandler Jones. That stuff matters.
Coaching matters. Who you're playing alongside matters.
You need to put that in the
Situation.
ranks somewhere. Put
Yes,
that in the
sir.
ranks.
Leadership, coaching advantage,
What are the vibes like in the organization?
Is the owner crazy trying to ship Jonathan Taylor
Is
off?
he kind of like Jamal Williams?
Yeah, does he like
what's the
anime?
vibe?
Let's talk about the Denver Broncos. I'm going to summarize this one. The Denver pass rush ceiling hinges on Randy Gregory. He's missed 22 games over the last 3 seasons, but he has a unique ability as a long-armed pass rusher who can win with strength, speed, and a creative approach to the position. Showcased during Denver's 2-1 start in 2022, he had a 24.1 pressure rate compiled through the first 3 weeks of the season. That ranked second in the league among players with at least 20 pass rush snaps. One of my favorite late targets, Randy Gregory. That's from Nick Kosmider at The Athletic.
Yeah. Yeah, when he's out there, I mean, it's obvious.
When he's out there.
Right.
That is a big qualifier for a guy that's missed 22 games.
Yeah, but it's clear, like, he is very good at getting to the quarterback and causing, pressures and all that stuff that you want to see from your edge guys. And so, yeah, I mean, I was excited about him last year. I mean, we're still going to be excited about him. I mean, he's even cheaper now.
Edge 63, DL 82.
And honestly, I mean, I don't know. You know how that stuff goes. Like, he may just stay healthy this year.
He could pop off for 10 sacks if he's healthy.
He can easily outperform that ADP.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not even going to be
It's
hard.
all- it's all health.
7 sacks, seven or 8 sacks, and he's going to be edge 40.
Yeah.
Could that team be frisky this year?
That offense has looked pretty bad.
That conference is pretty damn tough.
Even wild card, you don't think they could even get to a wild
I don't
card?
think
maybe
I
so.
this
don't.
year?
No, I see him as like a 6 or 7 win team.
Right.
Bro.
He's too weird.
Gotcha.
I was thinking more on the field, but also too
He's
weird.
too weird. He's
He's
a bad
just-
vibe in the locker room.
Totally bad
You know,
vibes.
you just
He had
got-
his own office in the facility, folks.
The Seahawks have like all the ex-Seahawks have just been unloading on him like this whole offseason.
Yeah.
Like they're all just like, this guy was the worst, pretty much.
Wow,
Addy,
KJ Wright went off on him.
tough
yeah,
scene.
Sleeper's favorite ADP linebacker, KJ Wright. Shout out.
Early in the offseason, we did.
Yeah,
I mean,
we got him
we
out of
helped.
there.
That was all of us, guys.
We renovated that
Truly.
ADP. We did some work on that. I don't think I've seen a KJ Wright pick. I've seen a Richard Sherman pick. I know, actually, I did see a KJ Wright pick.
Oh, did you?
In my last draft, yeah. Somebody didn't have a Q set.
hate
Addy, I'm
to
going
see it.
to let you read this next one here. AFC South, we're talking about the Houston Texans, and it is one of your favorite players. If you're not flag planting this guy, I'm going to be disappointed. Who's our next player?
Yeah, Denzel Perriman has been a welcome addition. The former Pro Bowl linebacker finally looks healthy and is playing good football. Known for his run-stuffing ability, Perriman has shown some improvement with his passing defense. The key for Perriman will be staying healthy. He hasn't played a full season in his 8-year career, but he's been eating healthier.
There
and
you go.
hopes This
Good
is
job,
the year.
Denzel.
Okay, you love to see that. The middle linebacker spot is important in Ryan's defense. Fred Warner was the engine that made things go with the Niners. So, yeah, I mean, I think Denzel Perriman is one of the most underrated linebackers in the league. I think he's actually good. I think he is going to be a great presence there in Houston. And I think Houston's being slept on a little bit. That
Yeah.
defense is going to be kind of frisky. I mean, they do got some dogs. Will Anderson, good God, blowing up that fullback and still getting the quarterback. That was amazing.
You might see
he
that
already
again.
has a moment.
You might see that again.
You're
That-
going to see
that moment.
You're going to see that probably a little, a little bit. But that team's fun, and so I kind of like what they got going on there, and I think that Perriman is going to be the linebacker you want. He's going to be the safest. Like, I do like Christian Harris, and I do like his upside, but there is always going to be a part of us that is worried that he's going to get replaced. I don't think we're going to see that with Perriman. And Perriman is one of those types that when he is out there, like, he will rack up the stats, and it's no problem for him to get like 14 to 15 points per game because he gets the tackles, but he also gets those tackles for losses.
Yeah,
He's looked amazing in the preseason.
yeah. I think that
And
Christian,
he has a sack and a pick in the preseason.
He has a pick in the first play of the game
Yeah.
against the Dolphins.
We would like you to save that for the regular season, brother.
Don't shoot your wide in the preseason there, buddy.
No, I love that. Great assessment. I don't know what else to say. I agree with you mostly about Christian Harris. He's kind of the Kenneth Murray a little bit there, to where he was taken high, but he was taken right there before that regime got there, So he could kind of be the odd man out, especially if he continues the poor PFF, grades and everything. But yeah, Denzel Perriman, a guy that's great in best ball. I don't know how much I'm relying on him in Dynasty, but
Right. But I think he's a good buy, man. I mean, I think he's a great
Cheap.
buy for a contender. It's the same
Yes.
thing with like that Chris Jones trade earlier.
Yeah.
The reason why you make that trade is because you go trade for guys like Cam Hayward, Javon Hargrave, DeForest Buckner, who's probably seen his value dip a little bit, even
Yeah.
though he's still really, really good. Those are the guys you trade for, right?
Yep. So many good D tackles right now.
I think I have. Did I take? I have Perryman. A lot of Perryman in.
Oh, dude, ate up.
Tons of best
He's
ball.
definitely my most owned linebacker.
I'm gonna run the
most
stats.
managed linebacker.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, guys.
Canceled. That was from Jonathan M. Alexander at Texas Sports Nation. Let's talk about the Tennessee Titans. One starter we might see. Who might see time is outside linebacker Harold Landry, as head coach Mike Vrabel hinted on Sunday. We want to try to get everybody ready for the season, but also get them to the season. Vrabel said Harold Landry hasn't played since his torn ACL last year, but he may need to go out there. For example, the Titans star pass rusher hasn't played since the team's devastating playoff loss against the Cincinnati Bengals back in 2021 after tearing his ACL prior to last season. That's from Jim Wyatt, TennesseeTitans.com. Sounds like Landry may be getting a little bit of run in the next preseason game.
Yeah.
That's the last week of the preseason, since it's only 3 weeks now.
Are you guys in? I think I was looking at it, and he's like going edge 20. Are you guys in at those prices?
No.
I've taken him one. I took him in Madness just to differentiate my draft, but I think that's the only share I
Same thing.
have.
I have 0. I don't have any Harold Landry. And I've also noticed, like we've been seeing, we'll probably get to it. Maybe I don't know. I haven't read ahead, but I've seen the buzz about Rashawn Gary lately.
Yeah.
I'm still not.
Yeah.
I'm still not. Even Jordan Brooks, the stuff that he's gonna
Just because they're on the field, pump the brakes about the
Why
about the
introduce
hype.
more risk?
Yes.
Why take on more risk than we have to?
There's so much value,
Mm-hmm.
and if you listen to the show, it's not even fair.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even fair how much of an advantage you have against your league mates. But there's just so much value out there. Either way, just there's no reason to take on that risk of these guys coming off these injuries that are probably not going to be themselves until at least halfway through the year.
At least.
There's just no reason.
Even if they're moving around good, like it's still on your mind. It's still on your mind. It's a mental hurdle for a little bit.
Don't misunderstand what we're saying. We want these guys to be successful. We like these guys, but there's just no reason to introduce more complexity into fantasy football than we need to.
Right. It's still not, the value is not good enough.
Yeah, it's not. The downside risk has not been baked into their ADP enough to the point where their values. I mean, a guy who hasn't played football in 18 months, going as, what'd you say, edge 20?
Okay, so I've got
little high.
I've got it pulled up. Harold Landry is the edge 20 right now. Spot on, Addy. Right behind him, Josh Sweat, edge 21. Russo, edge 22. Trayvon Walker, Montez Sweat, Kwity Paye, Azeez Ojulari, Bradley Chubb. And those are just like the edges. That's not even taking into consideration the defensive tackles. There's Jonathan Allen, Javon Hargrave, Dexter Lawrence, Deron Payne, Cam Hayward.
Yeah, what does it show what he is, DL?
Uh,
I also understand that this folks, like this ADP is unbelievable. We have it broken down, like you can see what they are.
True position
DL
and sleeper.
DL 26.
DL 26, edge 20.
26.
Yep. Yeah, you're mentioning all the guys that are going around him. It's just like, I don't know. There are guys I'd rather take that don't have that same sort of injury risk. Like Zadarius Smith is up there at edge 19. He goes right before Harold Landry. Mm-hmm. Cam Hayward goes right after him. Yeah.
Here's some of my favorites. You got like Sam Hubbard, who's like edge 30. You have Khalil Mack, who's edge 33. You have Trey Hendrickson, who's edge 32. So, I mean, that's where I'm going to be, I'm going to be dipping out of those guys.
Yeah, that's the value.
Yeah.
Landry at edge 20, as much as we like his upside, if he's healthy, that's a league winner because you're going to get a 98%. You're going to get a Max Crosby level workload from this guy. So
Arden Key's getting some really good buzz.
Oh, yeah.
I'm excited about
really
Key.
good.
Yeah, that's the Titans edge rusher.
That's
you want.
the one you're drafting.
Yeah,
You
that's
should be drafting.
edge 54, DL 72.
If you're in my ranks, that's the one you're drafting.
Yep. So let's talk about a linebacker who some folks liked in IDP, but ever since linebacker Monty Rice was surprisingly drafted in the 3rd round of the 2021 NFL Draft by the Tennessee Titans, he has struggled to prove that he was worth that type of investment. After playing just 7 snaps in preseason week 1 and sitting out all of last week's practices and the preseason week 2 game, Titans head coach said that Monty Rice was not available. Linebacker Jack Gibbons has been getting first-team reps alongside Azeez Al-Shaair for much of training camp, and both he started over Rice in preseason week 1. For now, my money is on Gibbons to take the job and hopefully run with it. That's from Sean Calderon at TennesseeTitans.com. So if the own team website is taking shots at a guy, it's over. It's curtains for Monty Rice.
A lot of hoping, though. I'm just not interested. I don't care about that.
John and Mike talked about that on the last Big Nickel. Not interested at all in the Titans LB2. Give me Azeez Al-Shaair and that's it.
Yeah, we're good there. I mean, there may be a stretch where one of those guys is useful, but it's going to be that same thing. You're just going to have, when's this going to end? Because none of those guys, Monty Rice, I don't know if he was drafted before the 5th round. Maybe he was a 4th round pick. I'm not sure.
He's LB 57 right now.
Chance Campbell was definitely a late pick. Jack Gibbons was definitely a late pick. Like none of these guys have high draft capital.
Yeah, he was a 3rd round pick in 2021.
Monty Rice was. So I mean, he has the most capital of the room.
So he should be the guy to take it, but he hasn't taken it. You've got Jack Gibbons taking the job. I mean, it's just over. It's over for Monty Rice.
Azeez Al-Shaair in best balls being taken right now is the LB 33, which is fantastic to me.
That's nice. That's beautiful.
Say it's over, Josh.
It's over.
It could be moments. Monty Rice still could have moments, guys.
If everyone could have a moment. Hell, we could have a moment. You want to pull us out of the stands for like a Disney Channel type moment? We'll get broken in half for you. Let's talk about my beloved Indianapolis Colts, and this one hurts me to say. I'm not going to say I told you so because I don't want to pile on a guy who has an injury, but Colts head coach Shane Steichen said linebacker Shaq Leonard is in concussion protocol after an incident in joint practice on Wednesday. It's not expected to be serious. However, it is worth noting it was a concussion suffered in week 4 of last season that kept Leonard out for 3 weeks. That's from ColtsWire.com. We just continue to see it with Shaq Leonard, man. I really do hate it, but you just have to stay away at this point.
Yeah, I'm sorry we're being negative tonight, guys, but we're just not putting up with any of this risk.
Yeah. Why? Why do it? Just look at the ADP. There is so much value to be had in these drafts. If you want to sprinkle in a flag plant here and there on a guy that has that risk, but don't just take a bunch of risky players in your drafts. You're just going to set yourself up to fail.
But the upside.
Yeah, but the floor, though.
Imagine your season if y'all had not drafted Anthony Richardson. If y'all didn't have Anthony Richardson to look for,
Minshew.
if y'all had decided to go like, I don't know, defensive tackle in the first round and then just said you were just going to roll Minshew.
Oh, we would have won
year.
like 2 or 3 games.
You're dealing with Leonard's concussion now. JT's off trying to seek a trade. It would be the worst, but
I don't know though. You'd have a shot at maybe Caleb Williams. I mean, would that have been the better? Would
put
you
it
prefer?
out 12 months.
Like,
man.
I feel like you would rather have Caleb Williams. I mean, if everything that I'm hearing is true about him, right? This is like a generational prospect.
Oh,
I'm
Lord.
excited.
I
I'm
hate
excited
that word.
about Richardson. But yes, in a world where we don't have Richardson, then yeah, sure, suck and take a shot on Caleb Williams.
You guys might be bad enough where you could still be in the position to take him.
I think our ceiling's probably like 7 wins at like best case scenario, but I don't care.
I'm rooting for A-Rich, but again, he's not in the best situation.
Yeah, that's true.
EJ Speed, LB 71 right now. Good golly,
Just
He's
took him
gonna
in our
play a
last.
lot this
Just took him
season.
in our last best ball draft.
Who was it?
EJ Speed.
Oh yeah.
He's free.
So let's talk about another player. I'm just not buying in.
Hey,
We've
I
been
picked
here
this
before.
guy up in XFL this week.
I don't want to hear it. Nick Cross essentially had a redshirt season last year. Fast forward to now, and the coaches can't stop raving about him. The Colts coaching staff have played Cross at both safety spots and even used him at slot corner. He's athletic enough to be a Swiss Army knife and excel at multiple positions. On the first day of joint practice, Cross had 2 interceptions, and on the second day of 11v11, he deflected a ball across the middle, and it was intercepted by
yes, sir.
EJ Speed. Cross is definitely one to watch moving forward as I'm growing more intrigued into what his role can be this season. That's from Sode McGinnis at Sports Illustrated now. No, thank you. Not interested.
Wow.
Nope.
He's burnt.
Been here, done that, got the t-shirt. Just not interested. Not that t-shirt. That t-shirt's awesome. Got the Nick Cross crapped on my fantasy season t-shirt. Don't like it that much.
I'm kind of interested. He's free.
He's free.
The value is
He's free.
nothing.
Well,
He's a free roster.
He's a
clogger.
roster spot.
Exactly.
He's a roster spot.
He's
He's
not free.
It's true.
I got a lot of DB spots. I'd love to have him just fill. I mean, who else is there to play?
He's like you got 60-man rosters.
Exactly.
Like,
oh yeah. This is
this is your DB
Yep.
8.
Yeah.
far.
Seven or eight.
Last pick in the draft.
Yes. And by week 2 or 3, you're gonna know pretty quick.
Yeah.
Is he something? Is this nothing?
You're got your eye on someone on the waivers.
I agree.
Like you already know the first 3 safeties that you're gonna take when you drop this guy.
Yeah. You've already he's
You're ready.
On phone.
You're in a relationship, but you've already swiped left or up or down or whatever direction on Tinder it is.
He's a half off the team.
Yeah, his jersey's
One foot's
already
out.
in the box, packed up and ready to go.
with JT.
Let's keep it rolling and talk about the Jacksonville Jaguars. Devin Lloyd saw a ton of playing time as a rookie in Jacksonville last season. His performance was rather up and down, but the flashes have always been bright enough to take the ride. Entering year 2 with a full season plus 2 playoff games under his belt, Lloyd now looks like a player who is seeing the game a bit cleaner, which is opening up other areas of what he can do. The Jaguars have a really nice situation with Lloyd, who could be in for a big jump this season. That's from Nick Baumgardner at The Athletic. What are y'all doing? Are y'all interested? We mentioned the Titans LB2. Any interest in the Jags LB2?
It's a bad look for your boy. I was hyped on Devin Lloyd last year, and now I couldn't care less about the guy. I'm not.
LB34.
That's fine.
Don't people say that wrong? Isn't it I could care less or I couldn't care less?
It's supposed to be I couldn't.
I couldn't care less.
I
could-
could care
You
less.
could care less means that there is more
Hey,
care to
hey,
give.
I said
could
it properly,
I
right?
could-
I could care less that you couldn't care less.
Right.
I could care
gets
less
confusing.
about both of
It
y'all.
is. English is hard. English is very
I
hard.
think I said it proper though, right?
You did, yeah.
No,
It's
you
good-
screwed
good
it
That's
up.
less.
very surprising.
You screwed
Yeah,
it up.
now he's in his head about it. Now he's thinking about
Cut this, Josh, if you don't
yeah,
mind.
familiarity. I was trying to think of what the word was.
That
Every
haunts
time
me.
I hear familiarity,
Me
I think
too.
of you.
Like, Jesus, that was
a
moment.
nightmare.
Hey, John hit it on the last pod, and he crushed it.
I think about it every time too. Anytime I hear it, I'm like, whoo.
Like triggered.
Hello, darkness. my
But Devin Lloyd that was beautiful, Addy. I mean, I'll take a shot. We are excited about this guy. He got the playing time in the playoff games. Nice reports out of training camp. LB 34. I don't mind to sprinkle in a little Devin Lloyd.
Chad Muma waiting in the wings.
Oh, Lord. Ventrell Miller.
Ventrell Miller.
This kind of feels like a Willie Gay situation where it's like an LB2 for a team that has some sexy upside, but there's a really capable, obviously Drew Tranquil is more capable, but Muma is a guy the Jags like, kind of lurking in the wings
Yeah.
to potentially be spoiler.
Just scares me.
It is kind of weird how
Don't be scared.
it is kind of weird how these Devin Lloyd types that are kind of like freaky athletes. I kind of familiarize him with like Isaiah Simmons, Zaven Collins, Derwin James. I'm trying to think of these weird Dre Greenlaw, Caden Ellis. These guys that have kind of weird skill sets that can rush the passer, either flash and they absolutely just hit on their team and they're just really, really good, or the team just doesn't know what to do with them. And Devin Lloyd kind of falls into that category for me. I hope the Jags can kind of figure him out, but it is worrisome that they do have so much depth there. That's never a good thing for an IDP value for a guy like Lloyd.
Bob, I'm going to keep a solo cam on you.
Oh, no.
What's our next news item here? It's a player I always associate with you.
Well, I just traded him to old Macri, so maybe disassociate that.
Can't
please.
do it. All the
Do it. Do
Jacksonville
it.
players get associated with you.
Meanwhile, the Josh Allen 2023 hype train is only picking up steam. Allen had another impressive day with multiple sacks and pressures in the team period versus the Detroit Lions. Allen has been solid during training camp, is looking to impress in a contract year. That's from Travis Holmes at the South Florida Tribune.
That was a good good read. I felt like it was a
The
Hot voice.
it was sound like a Manscaped ad read or something there.
hey, we need y'all back.
Yeah, I mean Josh Allen. I think this was Macri's pick as like the dark horse pick for like edge one.
Yeah.
You know, if you're picking a guy who's outside of the ADP, shout out Macri for using the ADP for that article.
Yeah.
Much appreciated.
Speaking of hot.
Massively hot. As hot as Josh Allen's 2023 outlook, I'd say even hotter.
Sure.
Have we
Even
not
hotter.
been here before, though? There's been a lot of hype for Josh Allen.
Contract year.
Contract year.
Contract year.
It matters. It matters. And I mean, we talk about it all the time. Like, I mean, he is in his prime right
Yep.
now, right? This should be his prime.
I think he's priced appropriately. Edge 16, DL 19,
That was going to
Yep,
be my
all day.
question.
ADP of 30. That's a mid third round pick.
You feel comfortable going into your season with Josh Allen as your edge one?
Edge 1, no. Edge 2, yes. Now it depends on the build. If I've got some
All right,
sick,
so
if I've got some sick linebackers,
So round 3, let's
yeah,
just say
it depends on the build.
First round you go
I go Roquan.
Roquan.
Then I go Devin White.
There you go. Now you come back with
Let me
Josh
call
Allen.
Josh Allen.
That
I'm cool
feels
with
good.
It.
Yeah.
I'm cool with it.
You sure
Yeah.
about that?
I'm fine with it, man.
I feel
Adam?
good because I've
I got
invested elsewhere in the roster.
definite advantage at linebacker, and then you know your boy is gonna find all the value.
It is
Come
fun.
on, dog. Come on, dog.
Sorry, I didn't mean to sleep on you. No, Josh Allen, it is fun.
Because that move right there allows you to go back into the DL waters when maybe you're taking linebacker in kind of those mid rounds, like 5th, 6th, 7th round. You can go back to the DL
Yeah.
well and not be shopping in the linebacker.
Understand, guys, we don't get stressed about any type of start we have.
Sure.
We're gonna always stunt.
we're going to crush.
We are always going to stunt, folks, says the guy in the Jalen Phillips
I'm feeling
t-shirt.
myself.
Yeah,
It's a t-shirt.
this-
It's a t-shirt. I apologize. It's
It's-
not me. It is the t-shirt. at this
T-shirt
point.
is talking. It is not the beer. It
T-shirt is taking over completely.
yes, the hype is flowing out of the T-shirt.
This
into
thing
his
may
body.
change my life.
Hey, we may never see you out of it. That would definitely change
Never takes
something.
it off again.
So let's keep it rolling, boys. We got to pick up the pace, or we're going to be here for another 3-hour episode. But we know y'all love those, so it might be okay
sure.
regardless. AFC East, Buffalo Bills. Sean McDermott has some words for his linebackers outside of Matt Milano. He was extremely critical of Tyrell Dotson. He talked up A.J. Klein. This is Joe Buscaglia from The Athletic. Thank God I listened to that Athletic football show. I know how to pronounce all of these beat writers' names. Shout out Robert Mays. But he Joe thinks that A.J. Klein has entered the equation to be the opening day starting middle linebacker in 2023.
If that's true, I mean, and that stuff happens every single year. So I mean, be prepared for it, folks.
Yep.
But if that's true, he's going to be a great
The number one
plug and play.
waiver wire pickup of the week
But
after week one.
But again, you're going to be terrified because there's going to be a time
like
where
16 other people waiting in the wings.
they're going to trot out Terrell Bernard one week. They're going to put the rookie in at the end of the year, which
Yep.
I still think Dorian Williams. People are still sleeping on him. I know that he's had a bad camp or whatever.
He's looked good in the games.
Looked damn good in the games.
Yep,
And he's got a lot of fans that we respect. And so we're still on the Dorian train.
Yep. I've said it. I said it on the after show with Bobo. That's my pick as the Bills linebacker too. Not to start the season, because I don't think there's any world in which Dorian Williams starts alongside Matt Milano. End of the season, I think Dorian Williams is the guy you want.
I think McDermott's just frustrated. I think he's probably just tired of some lackluster play in preseason. He just like, you know what? Screw y'all. I'm going to put A.J. Klein in.
Yeah, I
and
want
make y'all
someone
watch
to
him
take
play.
this role,
Absolutely.
and nobody's taking it.
Yeah, but all this is smoke. What do we do? What did I do today? You go get Matt Milano. That's what you do.
Yes, the answer is always Matt Milano.
Matt Milano is going to be an LB1 this year. Oh, my gosh. I wrote about it in an article that's going to come out here soon. Maybe. I don't know. Whenever Josh edits it. Probably
soon.
Next couple of weeks.
ASAP.
He's LB 17, right?
But,
in ADP.
I got to thinking about like Ernest Jones. Like there's so much hype right now for Ernest Jones, and reasonably so.
LB17.
But if there's that much hope for Ernest Jones because he's walking in from a 66% snap share to a 100% snap share, then why is there not still the same hype for a guy like Matt Milano, who they're sitting here talking about maybe running out a guy named A.J. Klein beside of him? What are we doing?
Dude, the answer's been Matt Milano for the past 5 or 6 years.
Yep. And even when it was Edmonds there,
Plug
Milano was
plug
the
new
guy you
show?
wanted.
Oh yeah, IDP trades. That's the
Yes.
handle. That's the handle. But this is we are starting a new show. It is called the IDP Trade Show.
Yes, sir. Beautiful
Ooh.
play on words.
Trade show.
Yeah. So there's not any like there's no shows that break down trades.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of content out there for that.
And one of the big obstacles, I think, to IDP, not only getting started in IDP, but staying in IDP,
Yeah.
is trades. I still struggle with it, even to this day, being 7 years into IDP now, of like, man, offense and IDP, like, how do you measure that? So that's what we're going to dive into on this show.
It's always scary.
Yeah, it
And
is.
there's just not a lot of resources out there. So we've been doing the Dynasty thing for over 7 years now.
7
at this
years
point?
now
So
for RSO,
we have a good handle, and you guys know you've listened to this pod for 4 years at this point. We used to do a "Who'd You Get" segment.
Yep.
You know, and this has always been kind of our forte, is breaking down this stuff. I mean, Bobby's an absolute maniac.
I'm gonna be a regular content
wanna-
contributor.
okay,
I can promise you
yes,
that.
sir. This is right in his wheelhouse. I had him in mind so much
Yes.
when I thought of this.
I want you to go back we're going to be, the three of us are going to be on the opening episode. It's going to be a monthly live stream. So make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube. Click that bell so you get notified when the stream goes live. We will be on the first episode, and then Addie will be hosting that with a rotating cast of awesome, awesome guests. You don't want to miss it. I want you to look up how many trades you've made.
Oh,
Let's
Lord.
just say in the last calendar year.
Let's go 2 years.
2 years.
I did a lot.
2
last
years.
year.
I want to see how many trades this guy has made just in our main league.
Over under. I'll set it at 50.
I was going to say 55, so I'll take the over.
Okay, Addy, you going over? You're
What was it? 55 trades in the last year?
No, 50.
50. I'm 50's over under.
Over under 50 trades in the last 2 years for Bobo.
Oh, over.
Oh,
yeah, I'm
way
thinking over.
Easy.
That might
Could
be, in
be
the last
could be
year,
approaching 60.
honestly.
So,
Folks, we need you though to participate
yes,
in the
yeah.
show.
This
like,
is-
the more you participate, the better the show is going to
only
be.
works if you participate,
Yep.
because
Don't-
we're really kind of modeling this. I know we're all at this table fans of Dynasty Trades and 5. Give those guys a follow.
Amazing show.
Amazing show. We want to be that same sort of resource of give us all the trades, and that's all we're going to discuss on that show is your trades. We're going to break them down.
Even if it's offense and IDP,
That's
I
what we
love
want
those
the
as
most.
well.
Yeah.
Because those are the hardest trades to figure out. So let's figure them out.
Yeah. Yeah. Shout out Shane, Scott, Clay, Dynasty Trades in 5. Amazing show.
Probably one of the
podcast.
best YouTube programs in the fantasy football industry.
They've taken over the Dynasty world by storm this past year. So yeah, I mean that's
10,000 subs, I
we'd-
think.
Yeah,
Wow.
we'd love to just kind
Amazing.
of bring something like that to IDP because IDP desperately needs that, and you know that's what it takes to grow anything.
Yep.
You gotta teach people how to do things, and that's
Player
what we're-
value. That's what we talked about.
That's what we're here to do.
You have to know how to value players, and then trades are easy.
And we don't care about the league. You know, if you only start one IDP, we don't
Yep.
care.
Okay.
You can send the
Doesn't
question.
matter.
We're gonna try and coach you up and try and tell you to convince your league mates to change those settings.
Yep.
But we want any questions you got.
Yeah,
That's
and
right.
I hate that. I've been seeing that a lot right now, not only on X but also on some other threads. People kind of
Look at you
crapping
calling
on
it
like,
X.
this guy's only starting one IDP or two IDPs and asking trade questions or whatever, and people like, that's not real IDP. Well, I guarantee you probably started somewhere small too. You didn't jump off starting, 3 cornerbacks and 2 safeties. So just shut up and kind of give some respect right now. It's all right for somebody to kind of dip their toe in first
Yes.
before they jump in, head first.
We have a
I ain't a
preferred
big
way to
distribu-
play IDP, and we will try our best to encourage folks to
Yeah.
play that level of IDP because we think that maximizes the entertainment.
Yeah.
And it adds the proper value for defensive players when it's equally calibrated with offense.
And
But
it's not hard,
yeah, it's not.
but it also opens up a whole new world. Like you want to give value.
Thank
A
you.
lot of
Bobo.
good singing tonight. You
A
want
lot
to
of
give
good voices.
I mean, if you can, as many players that you can give value to, that's what you're looking for because
Yep.
it just opens up everything. It opens up all the trades that are happening in your league and your dynasty leagues, and honestly, that's a good sign of the health of your league. If your league is active and making trades, which if you have IDP in your settings, it's going to make that much easier to do. But
much more trades.
that is just such a sign of a healthy league. If you guys are active and making moves, that's a good league.
because people are locked in. People who are not locked in probably not making trades.
Yep.
So check it out, youtube.com/@theIDP show. First episode, the 3 of us will be going live sometime during the first, I would say, month of the season. We'll figure out what date that's going to be and let you all know, but follow the handle.
Yeah, we've already got like 5 trades that have come in.
Yep.
So just continue to just hit us up. And then again, we will have this live stream. So, I mean, we want you to participate. We want you on there asking questions, like even trades that you're thinking about offering.
Yes, you don't have to have offered them yet.
Yeah, we don't care. We're not going to go back and check.
Yeah.
We won't tell anyone.
Yeah. Just don't tell your league mates about it if you're floating a possible trade with someone. So check it out. It's at IDP Trades on Twitter.
Josh start putting his own trades through.
I know. I'm going to float all my own trades through to get y'all to talk about, who's this Josh R guy? He sounds pretty handsome.
He really likes
Um,
Nick Cross.
So let's talk about, just quickly, I don't think this player warrants a whole lot of mention, but Jalen Mills has been used in both safety positions with the retirement of Devin McCourty. We're talking about the New England Patriots now, AFC East.
I liked him a long time ago.
Yeah.
Oh, Green Goblin.
Old Green Goblin hair. Just something to monitor because he was, I think, viewed more as a cornerback, and he is now playing safety since McCourty has left. So just muddies the water a little bit. Muddies the water a little bit for me. With you got Kyle Duggar there.
Yeah.
You've got Jabril Peppers there.
I know everyone loves Duggar.
Is that another guy you're gonna just windmill dunk on right now?
I mean, but are you boys loving Duggar?
No.
I took Duggar kind of high in the last best ball. I gotta admit.
Bobby, you do this though. You get your guys.
kinda got it.
Duggar's always been in there.
I kind of let it get away from me a little bit, and Duggar slipped in there.
I look, some very smart people have said that they expect Duggar to play 90+% of the snaps. If you are a Duggar manager, I hope that happens for you. There is no world, there is no alternate dimension where the Josh of that world has Kyle Duggar on any of his IDP
Same.
teams.
Y'all windmill dunking on everybody tonight. I'm
just
trying to spread the
it's-
love.
Look, I think DBs should get some love, but the Patriots defensive backfield, no thank you.
And here's the truth: like at this point, we've all put in the reps this offseason. We have done. Everyone at this table has done at least 20 drafts.
I think, just count them up to 17. It'll be 20 by the end of the season.
We have, 40 to 50 guys we're drafting, and that's pretty much it. We know where everyone's going. We are as locked in as you can get. So I mean, we know who we're drafting, and it ain't It ain't called Duggar.
Yeah. Let me
He
see.
ain't making it in.
Is
He ain't
Duggar on
he ain't
this
made the
list
50.
from Dynasty Planet? No, he is not. Rodney McLeod is my most rostered player, though. Shout out Rodney McLeod. What is up with that? DJ Reed, number
Yes,
2.
sir.
Just some amazing. You can tell I've been doing late DB since the very beginning of the offseason.
You can. You
gosh.
can.
Yeah.
You can.
All right, another player with a lot of hype. Marte Mapu has been one of the Patriots' best players in training camp, a rookie who has already drawn praise from veterans as he embarks on the difficult task of learning multiple positions in Bill Belichick's complicated defense. He rarely comes off the field at practices. He plays linebacker, safety, and nickel corner, often staying on the field with the first, second, and third team defenses. Coaches and teammates have raved about how hard he's worked to learn from so many different positions. Chad Graff at The Athletic, both of these points were from him. This sounds like absolute hell for IDP. Love the intrigue and mystery and the versatility of Marte Mapu. Not interested at all for IDP.
Nope.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Sure. I pulled up my Dynasty Planet. Let me give you my top 4.
Please do. This is going to be hilarious.
Ernest Jones.
Yeah, okay.
Jonathan Grenard.
Okay.
J.C. Horn, honestly, oddly enough.
that's
and then Caden Ellis and Aaron Donald.
There we go.
That's
There you
good
go.
though. That's a nice.
Yeah,
top
I have
five.
I have
Outside
a
of Horn,
huge
just
weird
Kinda
horn
random.
reference.
Kind of strange.
There are, let's see, I think there's like 7 or 8 guys.
Horn kind of sticking out there.
Listen to the next
The
one.
shirt has got to be reined in. It's out of control. Let me give I have those 2 guys weirdly as like my late DB targets.
Who?
But then DJ Reed and Rodney McLeod
Okay,
are my
love that.
2 most rostered players. But then I have Aaron Donald, Brandon Graham, Devondre Campbell, Deion Jones. Maybe I wrote the Deion Jones blurb. Jeffrey Simmons, Jonathan Allen, and Peyton Turner are the guys that I have like 6 shares of. So that's the next group. Those are my favorite targets.
Listen to this little 4-pack. Devonta Wyatt, Milton Williams, Osa Odigizua, and Brian Burns.
You are a meme of yourself
I
at
love
this
some
point
DTs.
with some of those names.
I love some DTs.
Hey, look at my list. It was Jonathan Allen and Jeffrey Simmons, and I'm sure there are more defensive tackles down the list here.
I can't wait for Keltown to do an article this offseason where it's like, don't draft DTs in best ball. It's a horrible idea.
And I'm like, Josh finished 10th or 11th or 12th in every best ball because of it.
I am super excited about that. I mean, think about that article. I mean, Keltown did that with just 7 best balls.
Exactly.
So now he's going to have 100.
70.
He's going to have 75 best ball drafts to pull from. The data is going to be outrageous. Let's talk about the Dolphins. David Long's football IQ and instincts when it comes to filling a gap versus pursuing the ball carrier are second to none. His physicality and instincts, confidence are exactly what you look for at linebacker. That was a tweet from Austin Gale of The Ringer. A lot of love from the film bros for David Schlong, as you called him. Addy gets those film boys rock hard.
They love him. I mean, you just
Nate Tice loved him. I
Yeah.
mean, all the guys who watch the film love David Long.
Yeah.
Should we love him for IDP? That's the question.
I think so. I mean, when he's been out there, and that's another. He's one of those guys.
win.
He's one of those guys when he's out there.
LB 41 right now.
But points per game wise, he's usually like a type that's in between like 13 to 14. So I mean, that's a rock solid linebacker too. And
Health wise, that could be a dark horse top 12 finisher.
yes, definitely. And I mean, he's in Vic Fangio's system, who's been very friendly to linebackers in the past. So I mean, yes, we love David Long. He just got to stay on the field. But yeah, I mean, it's him and Jerome Baker. I like both those guys.
Yeah.
Both guys great values. Both those guys are going in the LB 40s. So I think we could see maybe the best year from both of those guys.
I agree.
Weirdly enough.
Yeah, Jerome Baker, LB 46.
Ever
I like
since-
both those guys.
Ever since Vrabel called him a repeat offender, I've kind of been off of him. It's just a little, I don't know, little PTSD.
I think if you're a
rostering
coach
along.
and a guy is consistently banged up, it's probably very frustrating.
Yeah, I agree.
Especially with someone as talented as David Long.
Yep.
Jets, Quinnen Williams, in case you were wondering how getting paid affected him, has had his best camp so dominant that it's been hard for the offense to get work in at times.
Sure.
To the point where the coaches have had to consider pulling him in spots. That's from Albert Breer, Sports Illustrated. What do we need to say about Quinnen Williams? He's the dynasty DT1. He is going to feast this season. He is
DT what?
newly paid. DT1, baby.
Okay.
Let's go.
He's been DT1 since
I mean,
probably like
Year
last,
two.
I mean,
last year, right?
last year really though.
Yeah,
It's
when he
the
broke
lights, he clicked on for everyone.
This offseason, I think, is when you moved him up to Dynasty DT1. Was he DT1 on our top defensive tackles
Oh,
video
yes,
that we
yes,
did? Okay,
yes.
there you go.
yeah, and when was that? That was
During
Yeah.
the season last year.
But yeah, I mean, as soon as the year clicked over, yeah, he was definitely locked in there at DT1. Just have you been watching Hard Knocks?
No, Not yet. I want to.
Ooh, boy,
Is it
he
good?
is tearing it up.
Is he?
Tearing it up.
Not
Like,
surprised.
Everywhere I've gotten him, I'm like, oh boy, this is gonna be.
Oh my God! Let me check my Quinnen exposure.
He's gonna
Hopefully
have
it's high.
another, I think, double-digit sack year.
I don't have any Quinnen. What the hell?
I got him high up in the ranks.
I've got to do some more drafts.
He's someone that I
This is
have.
not good.
I haven't been taken like my ranks are. You know how it goes. I mean, you know how it goes. So, we gotta get Jalen Phillips.
Every draft, you're just getting your brain sniped out.
But understand, like I think, like that's one of those. That's kind of me being dumb. That's one of the you're thinking with your heart instead of your heads, right?
Yep.
Because I think
He said heads.
I think Quinnen Williams
It's two heads.
I think Quinnen Williams is going to have the better year than Jalen Phillips. I do.
I mean, wouldn't surprise me.
He was amazing last year.
Yeah, he was.
We're projecting with Jalen Phillips a whole lot.
Would
We
you,
are.
Would you rather have Quinnen Williams or Nick Bolton in these best balls?
Quinnen Williams.
Quinnen Williams, yeah.
Wow, because that's not the way it's being drafted. 'Cause
Nope.
Quinnen Williams is like a mid-second.
Yeah, he's the 18th overall player, so that's a mid-second round pick.
Spot on.
Right after Fred Warner and before Joey Bosa.
Best values in that second round is like Aaron Donald, Quinnen Williams,
Yum, yum, yum.
and then Danielle Hunter's really good.
Yeah, Danielle Hunter's going. He is like the last pick in the second round.
That's
Give me.
Devin
Imagine
White.
if you could stack like.
Devin White has been slipping. Brian Burns has been slipping.
Imagine if you could stack like a Brian Burns, Aiden Hutchinson, Jalen Phillips, or Kayvon Thibodeau with Danielle Hunter to start your draft.
Honestly,
Yes, please.
to me, Brian Burns fits more along the category of those like top big five.
Yeah.
You know, like right there with Reddick, kind of.
Yes. He deserves it.
Absolutely.
I mean, he is. I think in our dynasty ranks, I think I have him as edge 5 or 6. A 6. I still give him respect.
Sure.
I think I have him just one ahead of Jalen Phillips.
I think Jalen Phillips could finish as edge one this year.
I do too.
You look at the Max Crosby formula as far as pressures versus sacks. He's the guy that
It's
fits
him.
the bill. So that I'll take Jalen Phillips over Quinnen Williams, but there is projection in that. No doubt about it.
Yeah.
Let's talk about another guy with some projection baked in. Jermaine Johnson is now up to 36% of his snaps standing up this preseason, way up from the 12% last regular season and 6% last preseason. He's had at least 4 pressures and fewer than 20 pass rushing snaps. That's 20% compared to the 8.3 he generated in 36 pass rush snaps in 2022. Sure, this is the preseason, but the 2022 league average for pressures among edge rushers is just 10.8%. So Johnson's current pace is impressive just the same. Shout out Michael Nania of Jets X Factor for that write-up. Jermaine Johnson's getting some sneaky kind of like, I'm not going to say top 24 edge, but like top 36, top 40
Definitely
in the range of outcomes.
Definitely been taking note. I've definitely started trying to make some plans for Jermaine Johnson if I can. I've drafted him a few spots in these recent best balls. Right, I wasn't getting a ton of them. You know, probably going to kick myself for that.
Yeah,
but.
Edge 52, DL 69. He is the 161st pick right now. So I think, Bobo, it seems like to me there is no way that guy is not outperforming that ADP.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's fine. The only issue, I guess, for me with the Jets is just that, you could really see them have a real rotation here this year. You know, you just got so many guys. We talked about it here in the last couple of pods. You've got Bryce Huff, you've got John Franklin Meyer, you've got Carl Lawson still there. You just got so many guys who could contribute.
Will McDonald.
Yeah, Will McDonald, who looks awesome
getting
as
a
well.
lot of love as well.
It's just that in the best balls, I'm fine with it. But as far as relying on one of these guys to be the week in, week out type of guy, it just could be a little bit difficult. So anyways.
Yeah. Why don't you read that next blurb for us, Bobo?
For
we
the
are
Ravens?
moving to the AFC North, talking Baltimore Ravens. And it's about a player that I think we're all excited about, but have some questions about.
Absolutely. Yeah, the outside linebacker, David Ojabo, was
Trying to keep this train on the tracks while Adam chokes to
disruptive
death.
throughout the day. He secured a sack on Sam Howell, I believe, 2 plays after Washington's something. Yeah, he was also in the backfield for many pressures that forced Howell to throw the ball away or have rushed incompletions during the hurry-up period. Speaking of the hurry-up period, it appeared the offensive and defensive linemen were told to play half speed to let passing plays develop, but Ojabo was the lone player going full speed. That's from Chris Rim at Baltimore Banner. Yeah, outside of what Chris has to say here, Ojabo, y'all in or out on him? After coming back from that ruptured Achilles, I really think that he's important to Baltimore because Odafe Owe didn't really look like much last season and last offseason. Ojabo is going to be really important to the Ravens, especially.
He's very, very important to the
Ravens. And they have since brought in Patrick Clowney. That's hilarious. Jadeveon Clowney.
That's the guy I want. I'm not super interested in Ojabo, edge 39.
Yeah.
Jadeveon Clowney's edge 105.
I was surprised by that. I was, looking at the ADPs this past week.
That's high.
And I was like, well, I'm not in.
Not at that price. I don't disagree with you. I do think he is a huge kind of cog in the machine for the Ravens defense, but it is telling to me that they went out and got a Jadeveon Clowney. We talked about that on the last podcast.
I think they knew it was a problem.
Yeah, I think they knew that they have to get a little bit of reinforcement for this defensive line because they just don't have the horses right now. You like the upside of Ojabo. You're hoping to get something out of Odafe Owe, but Clowney, he's never going to live up to the first overall pick billing, but he's solid. He is he's going to be this sort of unique Ngakoue, this sort of, Carlos Dunlap, this sort of late career edge rusher who just bounces around like a mercenary, signs 1-year deals and gives you, 7 to 8 sacks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm fine with him. I mean, he's a really good run defender. So, you should probably have a decent little tackle floor there. And then,
he's going to play.
The sacks are up and down. Like, you never know. He could pop off for 6.
He has wearing number 24. So
don't like that.
Yeah, that's like Teddy Bridgewater with number 50.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of how we're numbering these players now. But let's talk about the last 3 teams in the AFC here. Cresting the hill at 1 hour and 5, so we're on track for a 3-hour episode as per the usual.
Sure.
So inside linebacker Patrick Queen had a bunch of pass breakups and aggressive wrap-ups. Defenders are prohibited from fully tackling players to the ground, but Queen regularly towed that line. 10 minutes into practice, Queen and Commanders running back Brian Robinson, he of the big hats, got into a brief scuffle that cleared the sidelines. Queen is pissed because he knows his time is numbered in Baltimore, and Trenton Simpson is coming for that ass.
I like that. Though. I like that for Patrick Queen. Need to play fired up. He struggled a little bit in the last couple of years with some missed tackles. So, honestly, I love hearing that Patrick Queen is kind of towing the line here for that. Trenton Simpson missed a ton of tackles, I believe, last night in the game against Washington. So, I don't think that Trenton Simpson is quite knocking at the door for Patrick Queen, but I think Patrick Queen's a little bit too risky in these best balls. I think he's like the LB 23. That's way too high in my opinion. I'm fine to pass on him at that point. But Patrick Queen, as far as a dynasty LB3 for me for 2023, I'm okay with.
Yeah. Doesn't toe the line mean that you're doing what you're supposed to do? I think you're talking about stepping over the line or crossing the line is when you're.
I've always kind of thought about it as like, towing the line means like you're getting up to it, but you're not going over the line.
Okay.
That's good.
Maybe that's what they're talking about. Like he's going right up to the line, but not going over it.
He's not like tackling guys.
No,
He's just kind of pushing them around.
I thought towing the line meant you were doing exactly what you were supposed to do. English is hard, folks.
I think you mean walking the line.
Yeah, that's a prison term, I think. Patrick Queen, LB 18, not interested at all. No, thank you.
Nope.
I think Trenton Simpson.
Okay.
Has nice dynasty upside there because I think he's going to be next in line to the throne. I think he's going to step right into that LB2 role, kind of like Nakobe Dean.
Also, Patrick Queen has fine dynasty upside too.
I'm not saying that he's a total dumpster fire in dynasty. I just don't like him for 2023.
He's gone. He's gone next year after 2023. But I mean,
Colts
someone's going to pick him up.
Yep. There's a lot of fun linebackers that are free agents this offseason.
Thank you. What does toe the line mean? Accept the authority, principles, or policies of a particular group, especially under pressure. It means you're doing what you're supposed to do.
Yeah. Real leaders, though, make their own rules.
Yeah, they cross they step a toe over the line.
Trenton, I hope you're pushing the boundaries, bro.
Yes, push those boundaries. Let's talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers. Nick Herbig continued his promising preseason. Lot of Herbig love on the XTL.
Big.
Yes. In the first half, are you okay? I really thought you were going into the light there for a second.
It's been strange.
I was like,
I'm back.
Does Bobby know the Heimlich? Because I'm not sure I could actually do it.
Got choked. Had to grab an ice cube. Thought that was going to help. Didn't help at all. Just tried to choke down some beer.
I was like,
There's the other effects of that.
I was like,
It's like-
maybe a water in that situation is what people typically
No
reach
water.
for. Yeah.
No water, you know that.
It's like he's choking, but instead of coughing or getting it out,
Let me
he
chug
just
a beer.
Forced it even deeper.
Yeah. Let me get this thing
I'm
drowned
going to take
in beer.
control of this situation.
Yes, I'm in charge.
You're not
Scrub.
making me cough. I'm going to drown you out.
Look, I appreciate it because I don't want to have to filter out a cough.
That's what I was thinking. Like, Josh is going to be so mad if he has to spend more time editing this.
If I have to try to find your mute button, I mute Bobby by accident. I'm going to be so pissed.
Oh my gosh.
Anyways, Nick Herbig, in the first half, he came within a step of strip sacking Josh Allen, the quarterback, not the Jacksonville Jaguars edge rusher, and was credited with a pass defended after disrupting the throw. Later, he was one step quicker to create a strip sack, going around Bills right tackle David Quisenberry with a jumping cross chop, reaching his right inside arm across his body to chop Quisenberry's right outside arm and clear his path to the quarterback. That is from Mike DeFabo at The Athletic. There was that move that was making the rounds of Nick Herbig. I think Warren Sharp tweeted it like a Spider-Man move. Like the way he got down and got low to the ground and got around that tackle was pretty impressive.
That do it for you? You being a Marvel guy?
Yeah, that was, you make a Spider-Man comparison. I'm in. We just rewatched the Spider-Verse movie with PAX this past weekend, so I'm liking when players are compared to superheroes.
I like Nick Herbig.
I think he's kind of that next, like, Alex Highsmith kind of guy. They just paid Highsmith, but, I mean, is he maybe the succession plan for TJ Watt?
Right. I mean, we talk about a situation.
That is really
That guy getting to learn from TJ Watt,
But
Highsmith,
Cam
and Cam Hayward.
Yes, and Cam Hayward.
And you got Tomlin, who's a pretty solid mentor, too.
Absolutely. That's got to be like a 99 out of 100 in like the intangible factor.
90.6 for Herbig on the overall PFF grade. 4 pressures, 3 sacks, and 25 pass rush snaps. Good Lord.
So
Yeah,
TJ
he's
Watt,
very good.
TJ Watt is contracted through 2025, but they actually have an out in 2020 after this season, after 2023.
Well, he better toe the line then. That's all I'm gonna say.
Stop it, Josh.
That just stuck in my craw a little bit. That's all I'm saying. Look, Nick Herbig.
chills right there.
The Steelers draft these kind of players.
Yeah.
I mean, they've hit on Watt. They've hit on Highsmith. I mean, this is what they do. So if they put their stamp on a guy, trust that, especially when he's flashing. Like Adam said, the great ones flash and perform early in their careers. Don't be surprised if we have consistent week in and week out production from Will Anderson this season, for example. I think Herbig might be a year or two away from that, but I love the potential.
Bob, your boy Marcus Golden's there.
Oh, I
Has
know.
been fine as
I
well.
drafted him today.
Did ya?
Pretty deep in a best ball.
He could be totally cool. Like, he could be so cool.
He'd be
Totally cool.
so cool, bro.
The coolest, you might say. I don't know what the hell's happened. I was trying to read what the Bengals have going on to try to get us ahead here.
Still
I don't know where
impressed.
that came from, guys.
I'm
Yeah.
still impressed.
I think his brain lost some oxygen.
he was choking, and he put down another 12 ounces in
Yeah.
about 30 seconds to
So-
kind of.
Had to do it.
Not
boys.
only is
It was
his
an emergency situation.
brain impaired from lack of oxygen, but also now more beer on top of that. So
Hey, do y'all have
who
any
knows how
interest
this
in
pod will go.
Quan Alexander this year?
Yeah, sure.
He's kind of healthy right now, and
kind of healthy.
I mean, he's.
That's how I feel most of the time.
It's
mean,
like what you read last week that guy has struggled with his health. I don't remember who it
Get
was
his health
exactly
under
that you were
control like
talking
it's a
about.
barking dog.
That's kind of been the same with Quan Alexander. But I mean, like, I'm not going to act like, Landon Roberts and Cole Holcomb are really just like guys that you can't get in front of. Quan Alexander might be a guy that for waivers we have to pay attention
Had
to.
some interesting usage
Yep.
in the preseason. Cincinnati Bengals, Dax Hill, labeled as the most athletic safety in the 2022 class by Next Gen Stats draft model, finds himself in an intriguing position with key departures of safety stalwarts Jesse Bates to Atlanta and Von Bell to Carolina via free agency. There's a void in the Bengals secondary, and Hill seems primed to fill it. Limited to just 135 defensive snaps in his first regular season and 169 snaps on special teams, Hill's role is set to expand significantly in his second NFL season. That's from Mike Band at NFL.com. Dax Hill stepping into a nice role there in Cincinnati. Von Bell, Jesse Bates both had relevance. I'm interested to see what the deployment is for Dax Hill versus some of the other guys there. You got Nick Scott, you got Jordan Battle. So it's a little bit muddy. It's like a light version of what's going on in Detroit. But Dax Hill, fine option if you want to.
What's his ADP looking like?
I think it's in the 30s. Let's see. He's safety 29, DB 35.
I mean, that's fine. I don't know. I'm always hesitant to go crazy about these safeties we haven't seen yet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and there's a lot
especially when we don't know what the role is going to be, because it's not like there's an incumbent starter there who this is for sure the deep safety and Dax is going to be the box guy. We don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know how these guys are going to shake out right now.
So he's not going to be someone that I'm targeting. I mean, he's just one of those guys you keep on the radar, kind of see how it goes. But I mean, if you're in Dynasty, you're definitely excited. He's got his chance now.
Yep.
This was a guy that was drafted at the end of the first round.
This is a Brian Asamoah, Nakobe Dean situation where it's a clean slate, and you are like, this is your opportunity to make something of it.
Yeah, Bengals told us what they were doing when they drafted him.
Yep.
Like, we knew that those safeties weren't going to last long, and that's what happened. So, it'll just be interesting to see. Like, really, the one I'm interested in is Jordan Battle. Like, when does he get kind of,
does he supplant Nick Scott?
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to take Dax Hill's job. I think eventually they want it to be Hill and Battle, which is like a 2-6 safety name combo. Yeah. It's very like military war
I like that
imagery. Love that. All right, let's wrap up with the Cleveland Browns. The defensive line can be as good as advertised. Jim Schwartz was hired as defensive coordinator in large part because of what he has done with pass rushers in the past. Then the Browns went and got him Zadarius Smith and Ogbania Okoronkwo to work with super freak Myles Garrett. It's a scary group and one that appears to be right on track. Injuries have caused some depth concerns, and Schwartz won't unleash his full rush playbook until the regular season begins, but expect big things in 2023 from either Smith or Okoronkwo, maybe even both. That's from Zach Jackson at The Athletic. I mean, the upside case, if you want to look outside of like the top 5 guys that are going, because what is Myles Garrett right now? Is he edge 4?
He's 5.
Is he 5? Okay, so if you wanted to go like which of the top 5, I mean, you could build a really strong case for Myles Garrett as edge 1 this season.
Oh, definitely. That's what I was thinking. Is the 5th pick if you're in the IDP only draft, is the 5th pick the best pick?
The 6th pick is the worst pick. I had the 6th pick in Madness and talked about, please God, just let one of these top 5 edge guys get to me. Myles Garrett did. But yes, you want the 5th pick because
if everyone's doing what they're supposed to do.
Yeah, those top 5, you're going to get the last of the top 5, or maybe even a choice between 2 of the top 5 guys if someone goes linebacker. I've seen Roquan Smith go 1 overall.
I've seen TJ Watt go 1 overall.
We've seen Max Crosby go like 107, 108.
I've seen Foye go in the top 5. So you could, if you're at that 105, you could have your pick of potentially 2 top 5 edge guys.
Yeah.
That could all finish as edge 1.
Yeah, we could
all of these guys have that potential.
Yes.
So
Obo right now, edge 64, DL 83. Oh my gosh.
That's delicious value.
I love that.
I've gotten a lot of,
I would probably rather go that than Zadarius Smith. Just personally, edge 19, DL 25 is a little rich for me.
Yeah, and Zadarius is also getting bumped up in these drafts too because he has that dual designation.
Yeah. So we're losing Addy again. Rest in peace. But we are going to take
get more beer.
Yeah, let me chug more beer. We're going to take an ad break. When we come back, will Adam still be alive? Don't go anywhere. We'll find out here in just a little bit. All right, we're back. Adam is still alive, and we're thankful for that. We don't have to cancel the IDP trade show, so we're happy about that. Welcome back, Addy. Glad you didn't go into the light. Let's talk about the NFC West, starting with the San Francisco 49ers. Drake Jackson returned to practice field for the first time since before the team left for Las Vegas 2 weeks ago. The second-year defensive end showed off his athleticism when he leapt to bat a screen pass from Brock Purdy, who then sprinted toward pay dirt. There was no evidence of slowness from the second-year defensive end, who added about 15 pounds of muscle this offseason and looks set for a breakout season. That is from David Lombardi at The Athletic. Yeah, Drake
Amazing
Jackson.
situation.
Yes, great situation, great opportunity.
Should have plenty
lot of buzz. Like Sigmund Bloom always talks about the drum beat.
Yeah.
It's beating louder and louder for Drake Jackson. Edge 49, DL 66, 148 overall.
That's fine.
Tremendous value.
That's fine, yeah. That's fair. It feels fair.
Yeah, I think it's probably appropriately priced. I like him to vastly outperform that if he gets the snaps that we think he can get.
Should get a lot of one-on-ones, but I mean, I don't know.
There's a little if in there though. I mean, he's he might work out. He also might not.
Yeah, I mean, edge 48. This is not a guy I don't think people have sky high expectations
Second round
for.
capital. I mean, you never know.
Yeah.
We're looking in that range for guys that we think have top 24 potential. I'm not saying it's likely that this guy's a top 24 edge in 2023, but I mean, it could happen. It's in his range of outcomes, in my opinion.
I'm almost more interested that Clelin Ferrell's there. It's like, what are you doing there? Like, what are you learning? Are you getting better? You were like really, pretty highly drafted.
Has he been drafted into our best balls? I don't feel
edge
like
134. So Clelin Ferrell is a non-factor,
Wow.
at least as far as IDP managers are
I
concerned.
wonder how many times he's been actually drafted though.
Yeah, that's a good question. He's at 373, like across the board, which is the number that we put when a player is not
So
drafted.
like once or twice.
It looks like he's been drafted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times.
Wow. Let's go, Clelin.
5 times.
All Bob.
All
Let's go,
Bob.
Clelin.
Let's look at your dynasty planner for Clelin Ferrell.
No, I probably not.
You probably do.
He was a former what? Like
Top
Third
3,
overall pick.
third overall pick of the Raiders.
damn Daniel.
Yeah, so Drake Jackson, I like him as just like a sleeper. Like, who's the guy that could surprise you that's not
Sure.
that the breakout potential's not baked into the ADP? I think going as the end of the DB4 range, that's a guy I really like to target.
But there are some other nice values around him though, right? I mean, let me look at this real fast, boys.
I do have three shares of Drake Jackson in best ball.
So I mean, you got Leonard Floyd right in front of him, edge 46. I would much rather take him.
I'll take Drake Jackson.
Arden Keys, edge 54.
I'll take Key.
Chandler Jones, edge 55.
That's a really good one, actually. I think I will take Jackson.
Ebiketie, edge 62.
Jackson.
Randy Gregory, edge 63.
Gregory.
Ogbonna, Bobby,
Ogbania Okoronkwo.
Oh, Ogbania for sure.
Yeah.
edge 64.
I think I take Obo there.
Boye Mafe, edge 71.
Dude, Mafe looks good.
Yes, Sam Williams, edge 72.
Yeah,
Sam
I
Williams
do.
looks
I
good.
probably would take
What's
Mafe
the-
and Sam Williams. That's two very good
What's
comps,
the
though.
difference between Drake Jackson and Sam Williams?
I mean, they both have about
Is this
equal
a joke?
opportunity. I think Drake Jackson. Who do you think gets
That's
more?
the question,
Who do
man.
you think
Is-
gets more snaps though?
I think
Because
Sam
you've got
Williams about to
Micah
break the F
Parsons
out.
and DeMarcus Lawrence there. Drake Jackson's the clear edge too, I think, opposite Nick
We've
Bosa.
already seen a lot on tape from Sam Williams.
I love Sam Williams too.
I'm just saying, in a lot of these preseason
both
games,
these guys.
we haven't seen it really like the pop yet from Drake Jackson. We've already seen it some from Sam Williams to where it's like, oh my gosh, could he be on the rise?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just
I like
think
it.
think it's a little more crowded room there.
But hey, you got what? That's like a difference in 20-some picks. I mean, that's
I tell you,
Pretty nice.
one person that you said you would rather have Drake Jackson over that I'm really falling for right now is Leonard Floyd. The more I see about Von Miller and how I think it's going to be a slow start for him, Leonard Floyd has played on some pretty bad defensive lines here lately. I know Aaron Donald has been there, but there hasn't been any help. I think Leonard Floyd is set for a fantastic 2023 season. I think you could see upwards of I think you could see a 12-sack season from Leonard Floyd.
I mean, he's been like what
Top
between
10.
9 and 10 for the last 3-4 years, right?
I think the guy could play really well this year. And I get in Dynasty he's getting older, but at least for 2023, that setup
30,
is pretty well.
31.
yeah, he's a guy I want earlier in the season if Von Miller starts the year on the PUP list or just comes along slowly. But it's just the Buffalo edge rushers. It's not a group I'm really excited to draft from.
Ooh, Greg
There-
R.
I like Ed Oliver a whole lot. I'm kind of in on him a little bit.
I'm with you.
Just comparatively speaking, there are a lot of edge rushers I would take over Greg Russo. There's a lot of defensive tackles I would take over Ed Oliver.
What's that? Look at that, real
Well,
fast.
I was going to say Drake Jackson to Sam Williams is 50 picks.
50
difference.
picks. That's-
It's
yeah,
like
I-
148 versus
I
201.
was thinking like edge 49.
Oh,
to
I got
edge.
you, yeah.
But yeah, it's a ton more picks between than that.
I would much rather have Sam Williams at that cost. Absolutely.
Ed
100%.
Oliver right
What's up?
now, DT 15 and overall DL 53. Some guys around him, Shaq Barrett.
DL 53.
Yes.
Mm.
Shaq
See,
Barrett, Von Miller, David Ojabo, Marcus Davenport.
Here's the difference for me. I go D tackle early in these drafts, so I'm loaded up at D tackle by the time Ed Oliver comes around. So I don't end up going Ed Oliver. I'm more of a Aaron Donald, Jonathan Allen, Jeffrey Simmons type of guy. So for whatever reason, I've just landed in draft spots where I've gotten a ton of early defensive tackle.
I find myself having way too many defensive tackle. The Aaron Donalds, Christian Wilkins, Deron Payne, Jeffrey Simmons. If I can get Quinnen, I'm fine with Quinnen. I'm finding myself looking at the end of my draft and looking at my team and like I've got 1 or 2 edge guys in my starting roster, and then I've got my flex field down there with Ed Oliver.
Yes,
and
defensive
with,
tackle.
Oso
I've got one.
Digizua.
I've got one Oliver share. I will say.
Hargrave, Cam Hayward, those are
Sure.
top
Oh my
ones for me.
yes.
Oh my gosh!
But I mean, I'm good with it, dude.
Yep.
I mean, people sleep on him. I mean, there's
lot
Cam
of
Hayward
value.
has been so good. Just look at the logs.
Oh my God, Cam Hayward.
Yes.
Yes, good
so
Lord.
Good. Discount AD. I mean,
Yes.
he really is.
I've got Hargrave. I got 4 shares, so he's one of my.
And Hargrave, just
higher
because
rostered
those amazing weeks that he has, he'll have those 40-point weeks. you
Yeah,
know?
that's the reason I think I'm not. I don't dislike Ed Oliver. I just go earlier. Defensive tackle, like I mentioned, AD, Jeffrey Simmons, Jonathan Allen, Javon Hargrave are 4 of my highest rostered players.
If you're on Ed Oliver like I am, you're expecting Oliver to have a career year.
Yeah.
I mean, he just got paid, and we saw it in flashes last year. He was banged up, but I mean, if you look at the log, like he was pretty damn good when he was out there, and he had some really big weeks to finish the year.
Yeah. Let's talk about the Arizona Cardinals and Zaven Collins. He was drafted to play inside linebacker, but new coach Jonathan Gannon values edge linebackers and feels he has the athletic ability to thrive on the edge. However, new defensive coordinator Nick Rallis said he won't be limited to Collins' new outside linebacking role. He's uniquely athletic for how big he is, Rallis said. His role can expand to edge. You can stack. He can rush inside. You can do a lot of different things. Unlocking a new skill set still leaves a learning curve, and Rallis sees room for growth for Collins off the edge, rushing inside, and even in coverage. You want him to inch forward with every technique that you need to use to execute the scheme. It's a violent game in the box, whether you're on the edge or whether you're inside. He displays that violence. That's from Zach Gershom of azcardinals.com. We have seen Zaven Collins line up exclusively at edge rusher this preseason. So my question is, what's the split look like? Is this like Micah Parsons from last year where it's like a little bit of linebacker deployment, but he's primarily an edge rusher? From what we've seen in the preseason, it seems like this guy is going to be exclusively rushing off the edge.
I kind of think so too.
Yeah.
I think it's 80% edge, maybe dropping back a little bit.
I think that's probably a good number as far as like what the deployment looks like.
Y'all boys in?
No,
I mean, can he get 10 sacks in his first year as an edge?
I don't think so.
he's going to have a lot of opportunity this year.
He will.
Who are you going to try to say is better than him?
There's some other guys
Dennis
there.
Gardeck, baby.
Yeah,
Good hype, honestly. I mean, he's been
know-
having some good. No
No
jokes
lie.
here.
Yeah.
BJ Ojolari, we like, was it Cam Thomas?
Yeah, Cam Thomas.
And Myjai Sanders is there as well. So there are some guys. I don't know. Can he do it? Yes, but I don't want to do it in year one of the experiment. I'm just not interested.
Yeah, same.
But I think we will be switching him to edge rusher like in our RSO league. I think he'll probably play enough there that we have to move him based on the thresholds we have. So let's talk about your Rammies, Bobo.
Cardinals are a mess right now.
They're a mess.
Boy,
They're an
they really
absolute
are.
mess. That's teams getting Caleb Williams. Byron Young
Or
is
the Rams.
maybe the Rams. These next two teams here. Byron Young is a likely opening day starter, having leapfrogged second-year outside linebacker Daniel Hardy, who on the depth chart, given the obvious need for pressure off the edge with the departure of Leonard Floyd, who had 9 or more sacks in each of the past 3 seasons. That's what you were just talking about, Bobo. The Rams would benefit immensely if Young's mix of speed and power translates into a potent pass rush force immediately. That's from Jordan Rodrigue of The Athletic. One of the best beat writers in the game. I really trust her eye for how this team deploys its talent and what guys are on the come up. Byron Young, I mean, why not take a late shot on this guy if he's going to be in the Leonard Floyd role?
Yeah, I agree with what you started that off with. Jordan is awesome at this. I mean, she's kind of who put me on to the fact that Jalen Ramsey was going to play the star role a couple years ago. She was kind of on to the fact that Ernest Jones was going to play alongside Bobby Wagner a lot more than people thought last offseason. So whether this is correct or not on Byron Young is, it's TBD, but
She's reporting what the team hopes is going to happen. Does it happen? That's the question.
there's nobody there,
That's it.
though. Oh, my gosh. Like, I know that it's kind of, everybody wants to see their rookies and everything, and that's all fun, but I know they kind of pull the reins back on them to some extent. But literally, Daniel who?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Byron Young is going to get a lot of play. Is he talented? I think there's going to be some upside with Byron Young. I've drafted him in XFL. I think there's going to be some upside with him. There's going to be a lot of opportunity. You get to play alongside Aaron Donald. I don't know. He's not going to be a world beater for you, but maybe just a name to kind of pay attention to.
He's going to get opportunity. He's like a 20th round pick right now. He's
Taxi
edge
squad
91, DL 119. So why not take a late dart? I mean, it's not going to cost you anything.
3rd round draft pick, I mean, 6'2", 250.
Which might have been the Rams' first pick.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was. They didn't have a second.
Okay, so that was their first pick in the draft.
4.40, 1,100 broad. That's one of the best on this list. And I'm talking about the 300 players. 9.22 RAS.
It's a good athlete.
Also, let's look at the speed score. Shout out Evan Ringler, player profiler.
Yes, sir. You'll be hearing the younger king on the IDP trade show.
129.5 speed score. That is 99th percentile. So,
Ooh, baby.
So I mean, yes, we're in, and those prices. I mean, that's
why wouldn't you
massive upside.
Yes, there's no cost.
Yeah,
just go take a dart. Take them in your rookie draft and we stash them.
We told you to do this. Like you can. I have tweets I think pinned about the rookies. I told you to target after draft. I said make sure you check your waivers for guys like that. Byron Young, Dorian Williams, DeMarvin Overshown, RIP.
Yeah.
But those are the types you want to target after the draft. And like he went undrafted basically in every single league.
Oh, yeah. He's on waivers so many places.
Those leagues where you have like 7 rounds, he's drafted there. But for the most part,
5-round
rookies,
nope.
Waivers.
Yep.
And you need to prioritize guys like this after the draft.
Yeah. If he's available, you got an auction coming up or your rookie draft or whatever you got coming up. Make sure that you just keep an eye on this guy. Put him on your draft board. See what happens with him. See if you can scoop him up for free. That would be delicious. Let's talk about the NFC South. No, let's talk about the Seahawks. First, Pete Carroll said Jordan Brooks is ready to practice hard and go when the team gets back to work next week. Tore his ACL 7 months ago, has passed his physical, will be taken off the PUP list. He's entering the final year of his contract after Seattle declined his 5th-year option in the offseason. That's from John Boyle, Seahawks.com. Really do wish the best for Jordan Brooks. Not interested at all for this year.
Yeah, right. Who cares about Jordan Brooks? Let's talk about Pete Carroll and those cut-ups of him just burning DBs.
My man is a head coach like no other. And here's the thing. You could look at it as like kind of corny, Bobo, but his players love this shit.
Oh, absolutely. Player coach, always kind of spicing it up, bringing the attitude, bringing the positive vibes to the room.
He went on Richard Sherman's podcast. Like, how many head coaches are doing podcasts? Like, I think Andy Reid did the Kelsey brothers, but
Pete over 70.
He's the oldest head coach in the NFL.
Wow.
He's over 70. I think he's 72.
Dude, those throws were unbelievable. I thought it was going to be like 1 or 2. I was like, dang, this guy's like 15 throws deep. Just putting it in the garbage can in the back of the end zone.
It makes you a little optimistic for aging. Like, well, shit, I
might be all right.
Life may be okay.
You'll be long gone by 71, Eddie. Let's not kid anyone.
Adam's going to try to do the whole golf thing where you shoot under your age. He's going to try to get to 70, 75, where he's throwing that. I'm going to try to put that 72 out there at crosswinds before I go.
I'm going to give myself a lot of chances. No doubt about it.
Unless he chokes to death during the podcast.
Sure.
And then tries to drown it with beer. That would be a hell of a way to go. Choked during his IDP podcast and tried to save himself with beer. He'll be buried in his Jalen Phillips shirt.
Let me ask you this. Is any of the Devin Bush stuff kind of getting y'all a little
excited?
Hot and bothered?
No.
Some of his play in the preseason's been pretty fun, though. He looks like a little bit of a different guy.
They gave him a 1-year deal, right?
I think so.
I
think bad linebackers just stay bad.
Yeah.
Could he turn it around? Yeah, sure. But I'm not going to take that risk. We talked about that.
I don't know.
It's like, just give me Bobby Wagner and I'll go grab
that team is so
LB2s elsewhere. There are so many good LB2s for NFL teams that I would rather shop in when I'm in that aisle.
I don't even know what they're going to do at DB. I mean,
Jamal Adams is coming off PUP. I saw that.
Sure he is.
Is he?
Yes, he is. I saw that today on Twitter. On X, sorry.
That
X.com.
seems like another Shaq Leonard
you got him
situation.
rostered?
Nah, he's gone.
Oh, you got rid of him?
Oh, yeah. Long gone.
60 trades in the past 2 years. Did you forget?
Long gone.
Let's talk about the NFC South, the Atlanta Falcons. We can keep this one short and sweet. The steady offseason drumbeat for Caden Ellis as Atlanta's LB1 continues. Caden Ellis and Troy Anderson were on for every snap with the starters. Ellis was the green dot, according to Mikey Dubs. Give me Troy Anderson. I've got him as LB14 now in my redraft ranks. I am all in on a top 12 season for Troy Anderson.
Love them both. Have no issues at all stacking them. In fact, I did it in the last best ball I just completed. I mean, both of those guys have ADPs as
very similar.
Linebacker 30 and 36, I believe.
Yeah, so Anderson is 30. And then Caden Ellis is 36. He's locked in right now, folks.
Unbelievable.
So, yes.
Imagine if we had lost that bright light, people. I want you to be thankful for this guy.
I love those guys.
Stack those guys. That's a great idea. We don't talk about linebackers stacking a lot. Perfect situation because I think both guys sometimes can sap each other's value, but like a Levante David, Devin White type of situation, I think both these linebackers I feel very comfortable with, and both could easily finish top 12.
I've done the stacking in 2 rooms, Atlanta and Houston.
Yep.
Christian Harris and Perriman.
Yep.
Let me tell y'all something. Oh, geez, he's gone. Let me tell y'all something that's really important and really juicy here. I feel like for the Falcons. Am I thinking about the right team? Yes, I am. So week 1, rookie quarterback Carolina. Week 2, rookie quarterback Green Bay. Week 3 and 4, whatever, Detroit and Jacksonville. Week 5, rookie quarterback Houston. Week 6, rookie quarterback Washington Commanders. So, anyways, I love that start, that possibility of Caden Ellis and Troy Anderson just eating for the Falcons to start the year, especially.
It is a great linebacker room. I think I love both these guys. We don't have to pick between them. Like Adam said, just take both.
Sure.
Don't complicate things.
I love that.
But if Caden Ellis is wearing the green dot, that's pretty nice.
Yep. ADP's fine for both of them. They're both going to eat.
Panthers, Derek Brown. We managed to go through all of training camp without writing much about Brown, the first-round pick from 2020, who had a breakthrough year last season and looks poised to make another jump to Pro Bowl level this year. Brown plays a position where it's hard to stand out in drills where there's no live contact, but Brown has been in great form in live action this preseason, reminding everyone he's on the rise. That's from Joseph Person at The Athletic. If you want to shop kind of in the bargain bin of D-tackle,
sure.
Derek Brown is D-tackle 19, DL 81.
Yeah, he's just kind of a better NFL defensive tackle than he is in IDP.
I think,
tackle, in my opinion,
I think he's in that
run
kind of
stuffer,
Barmore category for me of like, I'll stack him as like a D tackle 2 behind a more proven guy like a Cam Hayward or a Javon Hargrave and hope for the breakout potential. I kind of view those guys similar in terms of like have some upside, don't feel comfortable with them as like my starting defensive tackle in a D tackle required league.
Yep.
So let's keep it rolling here. Talk about the Saints. My I guess like one of my few players that has 6. Are you okay, Addy? Yeah, we're good. Okay.
Are you okay, Addy?
When you're crawling out the door,
Addy, are you okay?
Yeah. Too much singing tonight,
Full
boys.
disclosure, I have been dealing with some allergy stuff, and so that's really what this is, guys.
It's not. We're really worried. Let's talk about Peyton Turner. I have 6 shares of him in best ball for some reason.
We were rolling while you were gone.
I know. We rolled through about 18 teams. We're actually on to next week's episode. We're flag planting. Hasn't really found his footing through the first 2 years of his career. If this training camp is any sign, that is going to change for the former first-round pick. He's been impressive throughout camp, and their last game was a prime example of that. Turner's most impressive play was a strip sack recovered by Brian Brissy. He also forced Chargers quarterback Easton Stick out of the pocket on a play that resulted in an incompletion and forced a field goal. Carl Granderson may stand unopposed at the top of the defensive end depth chart, but Turner needs to be a large part of the rotation. That's from Darian Gray of SaintsWire.com. I like Granderson better than Turner, but I've been drafting a lot of Turner for a reason. I think he's being slept on. I think he has potential for former first-round pick. So I'm interested. I'm curious. Not calling for any sort of top 24 finish or anything, but I think it's nice to have these sort of rotational edge guys.
I think that's very smart. I think there's just some of these guys you just don't need to try to project like a Peyton Turner. Like we don't have to have some type of LB1 projection for all these guys or
he's
LB2,
edge 81.
whatever. Yeah.
He's 233rd.
Yep.
That's like almost a 20th round pick.
I agree. Brian?
That's why I'm going after this guy, because it's like that's in the range I typically start drafting my DBs. So if Turner's still there on the board, why not take a guy who
like
could end
that.
up as the edge 2
Yep.
for the Saints? You know, it's Cam Jordan we know is going to be edge 1, but Granderson, Peyton Turner, I think are both in contention for that edge 2 job.
You can't tell me Easton Stick didn't play baseball in high school.
I hope so.
Name like Easton Stick.
I hope so.
Sir, Easton.
I don't know what kids hit these days. I don't know if they're back on the
I mean-
old Copperheads. Remember them?
Yeah.
Yes,
They
I
had a little
do.
Ding.
Some of the other ones. You're
Uh,
a baseball guy. Both
I
y'all are baseball boys.
could tell you sunflower seeds.
TLX or TXL
Yeah.
was an early one. I had an Easton bat in high school. What'd you hit?
I think I used your bat in high school.
Yeah, I don't think Josh hit. Josh was kind of like a pitcher only type situation.
Yeah, I was a base runner.
That's
So
right.
I was
You were a designated
designated runner.
Yeah,
So
he was so fast.
White Lightning.
I was so slow. I got thrown out by like 20 feet on the first game of the season, our senior year. After hyping myself up for months as White Lightning on the, remember message boards?
Yeah,
message board days? KYpreps.com.
Oh,
you get
yeah.
on there, create an anonymous account.
Trash people.
lot of buzz about this White Lightning guy for Greenwood baseball
Yeah.
team, and then get thrown out by a good like 15, 20 feet. The foot speed just never came back after I broke my leg, and I just kind of gave up
Trey,
at
it
that
wasn't
point.
your fault.
I didn't know you broke your leg.
Yeah, I broke it 8th grade going into high school, playing rec baseball. Guy undercut me in the outfield. I'm 14, right?
Okay.
Because I'm going into high school. You could go up to 17,
Sure.
and there was one 17-year-old in that league. He was on our team playing left field. I'm in center field. We both go for a fly ball. I jump up to catch it. He undercuts me. I flip up in the air and break my leg.
What'd you break?
The outside bone of my left leg.
Fibula.
Is it the fibula?
That's what I've broke.
Yeah. So
You have a rod in it? Bunch of screws?
no, it is plastically
do.
deformed, so it kind of bends in. But
Okay.
yeah, foot speed never came back after that.
It's all right.
So my high school career,
Josh was fast as hell.
I was the
Seriously,
fastest
before that,
person in 8th grade.
Were you
very
fast?
good.
I
really?
was the
Truly
fastest
was.
person in our
I
class.
remember basketball
That is
tryouts,
not-
8th grade.
Yeah,
Bro was tearing up everybody.
Did you play football?
I played football, basketball, and baseball 8th grade year. That was the pinnacle of my athletic performance.
I will say, after I broke my fibula, I was about 50% of what I was.
Yeah,
Honestly, like
ain't as good as I
it's
once
a-
was.
It's a hurdle.
Yeah,
What's the end of it? Finish it, Toby.
I was as good as,
As
but I
good
was good once as I ever was.
was.
Here
Yeah,
it is.
I
I had to
was.
finish it.
8th grade was as I ever was.
Also understand, guys, this table here, low key athletic.
Yeah.
All right.
No, maybe not. You know,
What's your athletic traits?
what's
I'm golfing still.
what's our
I'm doing
RAS?
fine there.
I
Okay.
think I'm fine at disc golf. I walked on the treadmill today, so still got some mobility left in my body.
Hey,
You can do
praise
some,
up.
if you commit to golf, you'd be a good golfer, Josh.
Nope, I would not. What's our RAS though around this table? We averaging like a 4.8,
Oh yeah, we're very low.
very low.
I mean, when it comes to like the timed activities, yes, we're not good.
Are we like, is the first number a 0 point something?
But like I don't, things like golf and stuff like that,
Yeah.
where we're in carts, and
I put a 4-minute mile down before.
that's pretty good though.
What?
But that's as
4 minute
That's
mile?
about as extreme as
Wow.
you can get, though, right? I mean, like people that are
Oh,
out there
yeah.
playing basketball and stuff, like
No.
risking like tearing ACLs, like
No thanks.
no, sir. After 30, like basketball does not exist.
I remember.
Yeah, give me
Yeah.
non-contact. I
My-
get calls to play ball. I'm like,
no.
no, thank you.
It's just golf.
Well,
Yep.
I played softball as like 5 years
Also,
ago.
no.
Yeah.
But still,
It was funny. My sister-in-law, when they had their first son, she broke her arm playing like rec league soccer and couldn't hold her newborn son. So my wife had to hold the kid at like a family wedding they went to the entire time
Yeah.
because the wife had the big old cast on the arm.
yeah,
So
just ain't worth it.
Not worth it, especially when you have kids. Just don't do it.
the words of Adam and Randy something. What's his name? That's a no for me, dog.
Yeah, that's Randy Jackson.
Randy Jackson. There
Yeah.
you go. Sorry.
That's a no for me, dog.
Just golf, guys.
Just
Yeah.
golf
That's all you need.
and disc golf.
Absolutely.
I'm with Bobo in the disc golf.
Too
train.
hot right now, but soon.
Let's keep it rolling. We got about 30 minutes before I have to go feed a baby, so we're gonna roll through the rest of these teams
Love
and
you,
still
Allie.
give you guys some good takes. I do have responsibilities as a dad of a 6-week-old daughter.
You gonna feed her in that jersey?
Yes, I am. She's got to look at this god awful orange here.
She's gonna be up all night.
That's right. We color coordinated though, orange and blue. Just 3 weeks into camp. This is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers who just announced Baker Mayfield as their starter. So I'm sorry, Buccaneers fans, but you got a Super Bowl. So it's all good. Just 3 weeks into camp, and it's clear rookie edge rusher Yaya Diaby is easily the strongest and most powerful outside linebacker on the roster. Wait until he figures out what to do as a pass rusher in terms of putting moves together. A case in point was a one-on-one pass rush rep against 345-pound left tackle Tristan Wirfs. Diaby bull rushed him and surprisingly drove him back 3 steps before Wirfs could anchor and reset. Once Diaby learns to finish his rush with a club rip or an inside chop spin, he'll be deadly. Diaby also made a diving interception off a tipped Baker Mayfield pass that showed off his agility and athleticism. Scott Reynolds of Pewter Report. Just like Byron Young, Yaya Diaby, this kind of like unheralded, sort of under the radar edge rushers that are going to have opportunity on teams that are a little bereft of talent right now.
Basically same exact thing.
Yep.
Right? But just maybe a little more athletic.
Yaya Diaby was really athletic, wasn't he?
9.87 RAS.
Yes, that's sick.
Guy is 6'3", 263, 4'5", 40, 37-inch vert, and then look at the speed score, 98th percentile speed score. So, also we love the fact that he's out of Louisville. Shout out.
That's right.
KY,
Kentucky boy.
baby.
Give us all
But,
the Kentucky boys.
I mean, another just great situation. I mean, at this point, I think we can probably chalk Joe Tryon up to a bust.
I was looking
I
at
think
your
so.
ranks today,
Yeah, I think
Addy,
so.
and I saw Joe Tryon really far down there, and I was kind of going to ask you, like you just
over him.
yeah.
Over him. Yeah, I mean,
Moving on.
I'm more excited about yeah.
He's in the garbage can with Odafe Owe for me. It's just like we've talked about it. The edge rusher position is so strong right now with talent that I'm just not interested in these reclamation projects. Like,
Yeah, I mean, if you're convicted, I mean, he ain't going to cost anything.
Yeah,
Like, what's he gonna
exactly.
cost? He might be out there on waivers.
I'm not saying there's no chance. I'm just saying it's a small enough chance
Yeah.
that I don't want to.
Probably worth the roster spot, barely.
barely.
maybe.
Yeah, I think
Barely.
he's worth a roster spot. Yes.
But the problem that I'm having, especially in like XFL, is like I'm 0 RB this year. So I'm much rather throwing my darts on like
Yeah.
Jaleel McLaughlin, Latavius Murray, Keaton Mitchell. Like I am deep in trying to find a relevant running back right now. I ain't about to waste
Someone
some
with the
time
pulse.
on a Joe
Yes,
Tryon.
exactly.
Yep.
Someone that what his upside is what? Edge 36?
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly.
no, I don't care.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Moving on.
Yep.
All right, Addy, I'm gonna let you read this next one here.
Oh, boy.
NFC East. It is the New York Giants, and this is another one of your favorite players. Who are we talking about? It's another edge rusher.
When asked about his rookie season during training camp, Kayvon Thibodeau said last year's film disgusts him and gives him a cringe feeling.
I know you
Wow.
love cringe comedy,
do
so I
love
figured
cringe.
you would love this quote.
I do love cringe. Everyone is their own worst critic, I guess. Surface level stats show that Thibodeau managed to take down the quarterback just 4 times in 2023. However, traditional metrics don't tell the whole story here. For instance, next gen stats, Thibodeau tied for 10th most QB pressures among edge rushers from weeks 12 to 18 last season.
That's nice.
That's very nice, helping him finish the year with the second most pressures of any rookie. Aiden Hutchinson was first, was 45. So
Thibodeau had 40.
with an offseason to study and improve his game, these pressures should translate into sacks sooner rather than later. I mean, we love Kayvon. We love him. I think that we're looking at like easily 10 sacks this season.
The training camp buzz has been really good for
It's
Thibodeau.
been good. I mean, he looked good in the preseason
Yep.
games, preseason reps he's had so far. But I mean, yeah,
I
the
still
secret's
like
out.
I still like Aiden a smidge better,
Same.
based on what we saw in the preseason. But those guys, it is a 1A 1B type of situation.
The secret's out. I mean, the ADP is what he's a top 12 edge at this point.
Yep.
So I mean, everyone's expecting it as well.
So there's no discount.
Massive
You
upside.
are buying him at sticker price, but I think it's worth the investment because I really
think
do
so, too.
think that's a dude. Like
Yes.
Jalen Phillips, like Aiden Hutchinson. Yes, we are projecting a little bit, but these are dudes, and this is the next line of these kind of, we've got the top 5 right now with TJ Watt, Myles Garrett, Max Crosby, Nick Bosa. This is this next generation.
They got
Micah
next.
Parsons, Jalen Phillips, Aiden Hutchinson, Kayvon Thibodeau. Their time is coming.
Yeah, I mean, he put up a 40 burger in his rookie year.
Yep.
When you do stuff like that, you pay attention.
Yep. All right. This next one's going to hurt you, Addy. Cam Curl is the Washington Commanders. Oh, no, you're on the Cam Curl train now, so you're going to
Love
love
Cam
this.
Curl.
We're back in.
Love you, Jay.
That's right. Is the Washington Commanders' most important defensive player. The then Washington football team selected Curl's 7th round 2020 NFL draft. Since then, he has done nothing but prove everyone wrong. He's played at least 700 snaps in each of the first 3 years, all while finishing as a top 30 safety by PFF grade each year. In 2022, he earned the second highest grade at the position in the NFL and was the only safety to earn at least an 80 PFF grade in run defense, tackling, and coverage. It turned out to be harder to find in advanced statistics that Curl didn't place in the top 10 in. From Nick Ackridge of PFF.com.
Hey, you want to know what he didn't place top 10 in?
What's that?
Points per game.
Love him for all 22.
Absolutely.
There you go. Maybe he can be your flag plant for all 22.
There you go.
That's a very good.
I think everyone needs to understand what's going on with Jeremy Chin right now. And always remember that forever. There's the reason that's the reason why we don't get hyped up about these defensive backs, because in an instant it seemed like it can just be pulled out from underneath you.
The rug can be pulled out from under him. Yeah, the deployment, we didn't touch on it with the Panthers, but the deployment for Jeremy Chin in the preseason, Bobo, has been very, very bad.
Yep. It's to the point to where he's probably like odd man out there as far as defensive backs go.
Yeah.
Give me Xavier Woods and Von Bell over Chin.
But we talked about Chin, being a fade for us last year.
Yeah.
Just because, the hype was too much. Everyone was talking like, it was unanimous. This guy was a top 3 safety.
And sometimes we see the sweet spot for Chin. We see the sweet spot for a lot of these defensive backs. And, while the usage and while the lineup might be juicy, sometimes the play just doesn't always come. I don't know. It just doesn't really make sense for Jeremy Chin. He's in the spot. He's down in the box. He's playing with the linebackers. I don't know. It never worked for him. I don't know. It's just the hype was always more than what you got in points per game production from Jeremy Chin.
We wanted more from Chin. I was hopeful for Chin. I think I had him inside the top 5 DBs for this season because I thought he was going to get that box roll. But what we've seen so far, you have to adjust. Sig was just talking about this with Warren Sharp on the couch. Especially once we get into the season, you have to recondition your brain to let go of some of these takes you had during the offseason and respond to the information. Now, the preseason you have to take with a big old grain of salt, but what we have seen has not been encouraging for Jeremy Chin.
Now, it does kind of open up a buy window that we haven't had in a while for Jeremy Chin. If someone is scared of Jeremy Chin, if I can get Jeremy Chin for a 4th at this point, right? If someone's that scared, I doubt it. I think people are going to at least hold out for a 3rd. But if there was someone that was just I'm scared to death, I'm just going to get what I can. That's what I'm probably in, because it's crowded there now. You just have to start looking at their next situation at that point.
He's a free agent in 2024,
and he'll go somewhere.
Yeah,
he will get a contract and be fine and be a starter somewhere else. Just the situation he's in now with a new DC, and then also all these safeties that are solid. Xavier Woods, Von Bell's in there now. Just I don't want to mess with him.
And we know the linebacker room is solidified with Deion Jones. Going to be a top 56 linebacker.
Your best ball unit's hoping for it.
No lie, though. Deion Jones did look pretty good in the preseason.
I'm just saying.
I did we did used to love that guy.
That we did. He was very good in Atlanta.
Stuff like that doesn't mean as much for Deion Jones. It means more to me for Shaq Thompson and more for Frankie Louvu. Those guys are the ones who could stand to lose a little bit if Deion Jones does get a little play. Exactly like Nick Bolton and Drew Tranquill. The ones that we draft super high who have a Deion Jones kind of lingering around, maybe looking to take some snaps, those are the guys that we, can get hurt. We can
all get hurt.
We just, no one was happy.
We're all fragile.
I don't think any of us were thrilled whenever we saw Deion Jones sign there.
Yeah.
Just because it just muddies it up. that was a guy that at one point was solid. So
it's not going to hurt it that much for Shaq Thompson because he's already the LB 35, 40.
Maybe.
But I'm just saying from a draft perspective, that's not going to hurt as much as your Frankie Louvu at LB 8, whatever he is right now.
I think he's dropped a little bit, but he started out very high. He was a top 10.
Yeah.
Still hard to take
LB. He's LB 12 right now.
And that's just because of...
You have much Louvu?
I don't think I have any Louvu.
That's recency bias because when we were drafting in February when nobody else was and everybody just remembered how fun it was to have Frankie Louvu, he was getting you like 16 points per game.
For
He was
best
number
ball,
1 points per game.
I say
Yeah.
for best ball, he is a great target because you are going to get these boom games
Sure.
from him. But yeah, I mean, we'll talk about this on the IDP trade show. Player value ebbs and flows. And a lot of times when you're playing Dynasty, you want to be out when everyone else is in because you don't want to pay full price. When everyone's out, that's when you want to be in, scooping up the value, like we've talked about with Patrick Queen, like we've talked about with Jeremy Chin. Hell, like we've even talked about with Tryon Shoyinka and Odafe Owe. We don't hate a lot of players. There's not a lot of guys that I would say under no circumstances am I rostering this guy. It's typically just the value, the cost to get these guys on your roster. We're not willing to pay that because we'd rather go elsewhere. So
You also got to think like when are they going to be the most valuable like in their career for like Joe Tryon and those types? Like it's not that first year.
No.
We're often about that second year. But if things don't go right that second year, we're almost kind of out that third year, right? Kind of like we are with Joe Tryon and like Odafe Owe, like all those types. We're just kind of like, we don't want to mess with them.
And value is contextual too. For redraft, no interest in Tryon Shoyinka.
No.
For 2023, for Dynasty, maybe, depending on what the price is. And the price is probably free right now.
People don't realize too that the NFL is like a lot of people don't make it in the NFL.
Yeah.
Like just because you get drafted don't mean you're going to have a 10-year career.
First round pick does buy you more rope than
Sure.
other guys drafted later, but eventually we just have to accept if guys don't make it.
Owe wasn't a first-round pick. Joe Tryon wasn't a first-round pick. A lot of these guys, Drake Jackson wasn't a first-round pick. I mean, we can go around and talk about a lot of the guys that we hope take a step or it might be their second or third year, maybe they're a rookie, but
even if they are a first round pick, if they're an end of the first round pick,
That was Owe. Owe was first round.
was he really?
Yes, he
that
was.
it ain't the same. You know, I mean, so I don't know. I think most GMs realize that you're less likely to hit
Well,
once you get outside the top 15, right?
Just look at Marcus Davenport. Great example. I think we're, seeing that even though Marcus Davenport is disappointed for NFL, for IDP, he's getting a chance in Minnesota now as the edge too, opposite Danielle Hunter. I think we could see something similar. There will be a GM, there will be a coaching staff that will say, this Tryon Shoyinka guy, he was a first-round pick. I think we could coach this guy up. Same thing with Owe.
Clelin Ferrell.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
Clelin Ferrell's a guy who, if he was a 6th, 7th-round pick, he'd probably
out the
be
league.
playing in the USFL at this point.
Yep.
But because he was a 3rd overall pick, guess what the San Francisco 49ers are thinking? We can get this guy in our building. We can coach him up.
And guess what people in IDP have a hard time forgetting? That people were a first-round pick.
Yes.
Chase Young, Isaiah Simmons, Patrick Queen, the LB23 right now. There's a lot of these guys, Kenneth Murray. There's a lot of these guys that were drafted super high, and IDP managers know that. And they will circle back around. I don't know. It's a cyclical cycle. Just because you're off of a guy like Jeremy Chin right now, Adam's exactly right. This is a large way of saying this might be a nice little buy window for Jeremy Chin.
His value probably, I don't think it's ever been lower. There's maybe some times in the last few seasons where the usage was slipping,
But he's still going like safety
He's
6, 7.
he's safety 3.
You know what I thought about?
Oh my God.
You know what I thought about the other day? This reminds me of John Johnson. When John Johnson was being drafted super high for the Rams a couple years ago, like 3 or 4 years ago, and we had the whole "he's not that guy" segment.
Yep.
This is what this relates to, and all of a sudden we're like, wait, the Rams are letting John Johnson walk. We started looking at the PFF. We started looking at the missed tackles. We started looking at the usage, and we were like, wow, this guy's really not that guy.
And now he's back with Los Angeles, and it's come full circle
He
beautifully.
goes to the Browns for a year
He's
and just
just
kind of,
Oh yeah, he's not special.
Yeah.
exactly.
Right.
And we tend to think players are special. That's a trap you can fall into in IDP, thinking that NFL players have more relevance, more rope, more of an opportunity than they do because they scored fantasy points for your team.
How many special DBs are there, or safeties? How many special safeties are there?
How many special IDP assets are there?
I mean,
25,
I
30.
would say safety. There's 2 that come to mind for me: Derwin James, Kyle Hamilton.
Yeah.
That was about the only
And
guy.
for Petre,
And for
you know.
Kyle Hamilton, we're like hoping
Yeah.
he takes a step this year. He's not locked in as
I'm
a
saying as far as like prospect, like this guy checks every box. Type
I
of
agree,
thing,
but
except
what
for production.
But what I'm saying is just he hasn't broke out
No,
yet.
he has not.
Yeah.
Like, we're hoping
We're
he's
hoping.
special.
Yes.
He's trending towards. Same with kind of Brisker for me.
But as
there's
far
a
this
chance-
is year 3, and as far
Exactly.
as year 3 goes, this has been kind of disappointing for Kaham, right?
Yep. Fade DBs.
I mean, we love him for year 3, but I mean,
This is
to
Kyle
this
Hamilton's
point-
second year. He had his rookie year last year, and he's going into year 2.
oh wow.
Yeah.
Still,
So
though.
because Chuck Clark,
Yeah,
it
that's
was
right, that's
Chuck
right,
Clark
that's right.
last season, got 100% of the snaps.
That's right.
But my favorite stat from the offseason was that even with Chuck Clark playing 100% of snaps and Kyle Hamilton not, Chuck Clark only outscored Kyle Hamilton by 3 points by Big 3 scoring. So that to me tells you how efficient this guy can be when he gets the opportunity. And it's him and Marcus Williams this year.
But
I
even
think
this,
he's gonna be good.
even the stuff with special DBs, though, like a couple years ago, I would have said Buddha was special, and then all of a sudden he just wasn't productive for us. So it's like, where did that go? You know, all of a sudden
Jamal
you can
Adams.
you can just look up and these guys are just not productive anymore.
Well, it's when they have those insane seasons, it's just sell them.
Yeah.
You have to sell them.
Yeah.
Yes, we will talk about this a lot.
Petre, probably time to sell him is right now.
Look at the linebackers dramatically improved for Houston. Still not great by any means, but,
yeah, is
that
Petre
room
gonna-
is better.
Is Petre going to get 147 tackles again?
No.
Probably time to sell.
What's the over-under for him on tackles? 115?
I was going to say
100
120.
Yeah, 120.
And I mean, are there leagues where you can easily get a second for Petre? I feel like probably
yes,
so.
yes. People love Petre.
Oh, dude, Petre goes in the second round of some
I
of
know.
these
I know.
drafts.
So I mean, if there's someone out there that, and I remember like early days of us playing IDP, like I definitely remember like throwing around first round picks for safeties and
Oh,
shit
yeah.
like that. Just
You learn.
doing dumb things.
You learn.
So I mean, those deals are out there to be had. Just don't make them. You're gonna regret those. But cash out if you can get a first for Jalen
Yes.
Petre.
Oh, my God,
get
yes.
out of him. I know it was fun last year. I know it was cool. Get out of him.
Because where did you take Petre? Fourth,
Undrafted,
fifth round?
dude.
Yeah, or
Just because
undrafted.
think about all the red
Could
flags.
turn that into a first.
Think about all the red flags. A ton of tackles.
Yes.
New coaching regime. The coaching regime has never, D'Amico Ryan's never really had a good safety before. You got really good linebackers in front of you right now. You're getting a little bit better offense. You're probably going to play a little bit less defensive snaps. Is there anything positive for Petre?
It's the biggest fade in history.
Absolutely.
We still like him, but not at the price he's going right now.
Yeah, you have to put him on your block. You have to. At least see what you're going to get.
Yeah, he is safety 2, going as the 40th overall pick.
Now,
TJ Edwards, Christian Wilkins, Frankie Louvu,
Dude,
CJ Mosley all go behind him. Dre Greenlaw.
There
goes
might be a
behind him.
world where somebody gives you a first for Petre.
I think so. I
See
think
if you can get a
find it.
first.
You can find it.
Hey,
There's-
we're talking about sending us your trades. If you get a first for Petre, we will feature you on the first episode
yeah.
of the IDP Trade Show. Send it in, folks.
Petre smashes this year.
All right,
He's
boys. We're
165
going to go
tackles.
Get
speed
canceled.
round these last 15 minutes here. Eagles, Nakobe Dean, positive showing during the second preseason game, stood out again in practice. I worried a little bit about Nakobe Dean when they brought in Nicholas Morrow, when they brought in Miles Jack, who retired, and Zach Cunningham. But, boys, it is wheels all the way up for Nakobe Dean.
Yep, seemed like
No
a layup
worry.
pick this year, and he's like in the LB 15 to 20
I was going to say,
range.
he's still not getting the respect I think he deserves. He is going as LB 25.
Okay, so yes. I mean, it's
That is
Nakobe
a
Dean
that is a
season.
top 12 LB for me.
Yep.
So
And also, like what I was thinking with that Philadelphia Eagles team, something we don't talk about enough is just the fact that those like half that defense played together at Georgia.
yes, it's true.
So, I
It's
mean,
the Philadelphia Bulldogs.
Even though they lost a lot of experience, like those guys they should have chemistry together.
Yes, that
even
team
those young guys should know each other already.
A lot
So,
of Georgia players, and that's a good team to draft your defensive guys from.
fun team.
A lot of dogs on that team.
Yep.
Speaking of dogs, Dallas Cowboys, Sam Williams. This is a good point. This is something I had not considered here. The Cowboys are going to need somebody to step up and capitalize on advantageous situations created by offenses scheming against Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence, similar to what Randy Gregory did in his final year at Dallas. Sam Williams, great sleeper pick, especially like we said, going as like pick number 200 by ADP.
Love him.
Yeah.
I expect a nice second-year breakout from Sam Williams.
I mean, he's
Pressure
the,
rate was great last year. I mean, another guy with really good, athletic profile. Like it's all there for him.
Yeah, I mean, they mentioned this at NFL.com. An impressive athletic profile for his size, one of 7 edge rushers to weigh at least 260 pounds and clock a sub 4.5 40-yard dash at the NFL Scouting Combine over the last 2 decades. One of only 7 edge defenders to do that. Freak. I think he's the DeMarcus Lawrence succession plan. That's my guess. They want Micah Parsons and Sam Williams there.
And I mean, DeMarcus Lawrence. I mean, I like him, but can you count on him?
Yeah, I mean,
he's struggled with health,
banged up
his entire career. So I mean, there's a real opportunity there for Sam Williams. I mean, if something happens to any of those guys, Dorrance Armstrong too. I mean, Sam Williams sees between 600 to 700 snaps. I mean, I think 10 sacks could honestly happen.
Yep.
Yeah. So, Damone Clark, LB2 next to Leighton Vanderneck. I mean, it's not a situation that I'm like super interested in, but it's LVE.
Well,
talk about banged up and not reliable.
And of course, after DeMarvion,
I know, sucks. Torn ACL.
That sucks.
Done for the season. But there is, I think, some hype building for Damone Clark. So if you want to go fishing in those waters, it's not a bad play because, again, LVE, I mean, the definition of mid linebacker. So I think, unlike the Titans, LB2,
definitely more attractive now.
yes,
I mean,
especially
it's
with
more clear.
with Demarion Overshone out of the way. But I think Damone Clark was going to win that job. So I don't think this does anything but just remove a potential late season threat for Damone Clark.
Yes.
I think he was going to be the starter alongside LVE the entire time. Let's talk about the NFC North and the Detroit Lions. Brian Branch versus Tracy Walker is one battle that has unfolded all training camp. It's probably less of a battle and more of a preference. When the Lions reconfigured their secondary this offseason, it was assumed that Walker and Kirby Joseph would start at safety, while C.J. Gardner-Johnson would play nickel. As camp has progressed, there is a clear pecking order starting to take shape. Branch has worked with the starting defense at nickel, with Gardner, Johnson, and Joseph back at safety. Walker, meanwhile, has repped as a second-team safety. The trend has continued. Branch, Gardner, Johnson, and Joseph all sat Saturday. Walker started at safety with much of the reserves. Branch might have the edge at this point. That's from Colton Pouncey, another great beat writer at The Athletic. I think it is C.J. Gardner-Johnson season. I think it is Brian Branch season, and I think Tracy Walker is on the outs.
I think so too. I mean, that's Achilles injuries.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's just how it goes.
And just a better player.
Yeah,
I really do think C.J. Gardner-Johnson and Brian Branch are better players than Tracy Walker.
Too crowded. And Kirby Joseph.
Yes, exactly.
And those are Dan Campbell guys. Tracy's the one guy left from the prior group. I think that
He did get an extension, but
Yeah. I
Was
remember
that-
that video
was-
like in the hallway of
I think
like
that was
Campbell coming
before.
up to Tracy and being like, man,
that was Campbell that
this is
was
your
the coach.
team.
Yes.
You're a part of this.
exactly.
But then you get hurt, and you
it's
go.
a different story.
Yes.
You're a different player.
Yes.
You're not the player that they gave the contract to.
The Lions have told us what they thought of this safety group.
Josh was fast before he broke his leg.
That's right. I was the
Different
fastest
player.
player in 8th grade.
Different player.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's physically hard, mentally hard.
Yes, very hard. I struggle with it still to this day. Backers Rashawn Gary and Preston Smith cemented as the top two edge rushers. The third spot will go to either Kingsley Enagbare or Lucas Van Ness. Enagbare, the 2022 fifth-round pick out of South Carolina, made a convincing case for the job. And if Gary isn't a full go by week 1, coming off his ACL tear, he hasn't been cleared for 11-on-11 work yet. Enagbare could see more playing time than the number 3 edge rusher typically would. It's not a shock that he went out and performed like that. LaFleur said he's had a heck of a week of practice. Saw it in the 2 practices versus them. He had multiple sacks or perceived sacks since they don't call many of them, but he went out there and he performed just like he had practiced. So you could do worse than Enagbare if Rashawn Gary's on the shelf. I'm not interested, but there is meat on the bone there if Gary starts the year on the shelf.
Small sample size, 24 pass rush attempts, 93.9 overall PFF grade, 5 pressures, 2 sacks.
Bobo's
good.
in on Lucas Van Ness though.
Pretty good.
I can feel the energy.
Pretty good.
I'm not.
What are you in
Come
on?
on.
What are you shaking? What are you SMDHing
I
over there
love
for?
Kingsley, man. I
Do
think
you really?
I wrote about him
This
in
is
this
news.
article coming up here soon.
That you will see
Enagbare
ASAP on the website.
is a nice little. He's a freebie. Nobody's grabbing him anywhere. He's not really being drafted
Is he
anywhere.
even being drafted? That's
Here-
the question.
If Rashawn Gary is not being cleared for 11-on-11 work, guess what? He ain't playing week 1. He
Yeah.
ain't playing week 2. Even if
If he is, he ain't going to be himself.
Yeah.
He's probably going to start on PUP if I
Great.
had to guess.
He's going to get, once they start cycling him in, he's going to get 20 snaps. He's going to get 30 snaps. What do they have here on the opposite of Preston Smith? Lucas Van Ness is a rookie. who is going to look like a rookie at times. They're not going to throw him to the Wolves in week 1. Enagbare is going to get more snaps to begin the season than people really are anticipating.
Edge 113, DL 151.
Free.
Pick 333.
And probably free in Dynasty, probably out there on your waivers.
People might not even know what team this guy plays for.
And also understand, like, we're only saying add him
Deeper
in Dynasty if you're in, 53 to
Very
60,
deep leagues.
Very deep.
All right, Minnesota Vikings, Addy. The talk of Minnesota has been undrafted free agent linebacker Ivan Pace Jr. He's no longer competing to earn a roster spot, but rather snaps right away in the regular season. After the first joint practice against the Titans, head coach Kevin O'Connell spoke very highly of Pace, including giving him gold stars. Yeah, I know. He's really every facet of the game, how we are playing defense, communication, pressure, no pressure, the way he has the athleticism to run sideline to sideline, cancel out some mistakes. If we lose a gap here or there, he's shown to be able to get off blocks for a guy that when I watched his tape in college, he was almost unblockable. And that's translating in a lot of ways. That's from Tyler Fournette's Vikings Wire. I'm kind of wondering if we might see an Ivan Pace, Brian Asamoah linebacking core by the end of this season.
I think he's going to be a factor.
I think he is.
I think so. I mean, and we talked about it like immediately too. I mean, this was a amazing landing spot for him. Think about like last year with Jack Sanborn, like same type situation really, once Roquan left, like if the same situation happens in Minnesota, via injury or whatever. Ivan Pace could be absolutely dominant, and we love the way he scores and the way he produces. I mean, he's a guy that will rack up tackles. He causes problems in the backfield. I mean, that is the linebackers you want for IDP. So, everything we've wanted to hear, we're hearing. Mm-hmm. And so I think you have to start kind of factoring him in and honestly, potentially drafting him at the end of your draft just because the upside with him is so great. Mm-hmm. The college production was like no one else in this linebacking class.
Yep.
So
he's just small. He's just short.
He's just small, but who gives a damn?
Yeah, he is LB 98 right after Kingsley Enagbare in
Wow.
the ADP. So you don't have to pay anything for this guy.
What are the odds that it's a Jordan Hicks and Ivan Pace line?
That's what I was thinking
Yeah.
about. There is risk with Asamoah. Like, we have to acknowledge that. I think
I've started fading Asamoah.
Yeah, I think you have to. The way I look at what the Vikings are doing, they are systematically cleaning house of these older players to bring in younger talent. So I think it will come at the expense of Jordan Hicks, but it all depends on how well Brian Asamoah plays. And from what it sounds like, it's been an up and down training camp.
And
for
Brian
Asamoah.
Flores does not care.
Exactly.
He does not care at all. He did not draft Brian Asamoah. I mean, he's going to probably – I mean, Jordan Hicks may be the safest asset there at linebacker.
Just because he costs you nothing.
Right. And then, it's just it's a toss-up between Ivan Pace and Asamoah. And at this point, it seems like Pace could have a little bit of a leg.
And his preseason, some of his highlights have been fun.
There's not a lot of linebackers that have highlights from the preseason like Ivan Pace Jr.
Man, he had the one where he chipped the offensive lineman, dove in the backfield, grabbed a leg for a tackle for loss. That was just like, you just don't see that out of UDFAs in week 1 of the preseason.
I think he'll come along slow because, again, he's playing against
sure.
backups and second and third string guys. But, it's not the hardest linebacker depth chart to crack there in Minnesota.
It's one of the worst in the league.
Yep.
And it's also not like he's 5'7".
Yeah,
Dude's
he's not
like
Muggsy Bogues out here.
5'10", 5'11". He's,
and he's productive.
we would prefer he'd be like, what, 6 foot,
Yeah.
6'1".
just a little taller.
Height to weight, whatever. But as far as like the speed, athleticism, Adam's actually right to the college stats were pretty dumb. But
That's why John Macri nicknamed him the Ghost, because his little spider chart with his athleticism was basically non-existent just because the size was so low. So,
But I mean, Pace isn't that much smaller than Asamoah. I mean, actually, he's weighs more than Asamoah. Pace is 5'11", and he's 231, and then Asamoah is 6 foot and 220.
So there you go.
Wow.
I think it's just under that 6 foot threshold. These teams have thresholds when they draft. That's probably why you did not see Ivan Pace Jr. If I had to guess, I'd say NFL teams probably have a height threshold of 6 foot for linebackers. So that may be why this guy did not get
I'm
drafted.
way more concerned about their weight than I am,
cares?
5'11"
Yeah, right.
versus 6 foot.
Yeah.
231. Actually, it was 226 for Asamoah. So, I mean,
Yeah.
Pace has him by 5 pounds.
Yeah. He's just an inch
What
shorter.
are we worried about here?
John has
good
always
question.
said the NFL is just height supremacist. They just don't. They want tall guys.
It don't matter if you got that dog in your boat.
You got
Yeah.
that dog for show.
Flores don't care.
Just
either.
real quickly, I wanted to reference a player, Addy, that we were getting asked about in our IDP show Slack. Lewis Seen struggled coming back from a major injury. Patience is required as he works to get his legs back underneath him. So far, he has looked a little heavy-legged. Watching him in a special teams drill Wednesday, he had some difficulty keeping up with the smaller, quicker Titans he was tasked with blocking. He shouldn't be expected to be back at 100% in his early days of camp or his first preseason games, but other safeties like Bynum, Metellus, and Theo Jackson are having some really good moments.
Yeah.
Seen could use a couple himself.
Exactly. I'm not targeting Scene at all. I'm almost expecting him to potentially be a bust. And also, go back and look at the Tajay Spears touchdown. Why did that happen? Lewis Scene.
Lewis was seen lacking in his
Yes.
Coverage
Just go
skills.
watch it again and watch the safety.
Yeah.
That's Mr. Lewis Scene.
that's not great.
Yeah. He dove at him and he gets hurdled and then it's a 30-yard touchdown.
You do not want to get hurdled. If you're going to dive, don't get hurdled.
Yeah.
Don't get put
So-
on a poster.
So that's why we saw the Tajay Spears hype
Yeah.
pieces out this weekend. It's because Lewis Scene
Normally-
made a really bad attempt at a tackle.
There should not be Tajay Spears hype because it should be buried underneath the falling stock of Lewis Seen.
I am
It
ready-
should drag that hype down a little bit.
Preseason sucks.
I'm ready for real football.
Yes.
Ready for real
Sucks.
This
football.
Sucks so
stretch,
bad.
this stretch right here is maddening as we try to cipher through all this. Last bit of news, though, and it is here 11 o'clock, so we have very good timing. DeMarcus Walker established himself as a vocal leader at Bears training camp and is set to start opposite Yannick Ngakoue at the edge position this year. Following a breakout year in 2022 in which Walker played in every game, he had career-high stats across the board, 7 sacks. Now, the Bears' defensive ends in 2022 combined for 6.5 sacks. That is notable. 10 tackles for loss, 16 QB hits. The Bears signed him to a 3-year, $21 million deal. He is expected to get after the passer. He has the versatility to play end or inside. He now has a complement in Yannick Ngakoue, a pass rush specialist. Walker returned to practice this week in Indy and should be good to go for week 1 from Kevin Fishbane at The Athletic. I probably have Walker higher in my redraft ranks than I would say most people do in ranks this offseason. I love DeMarcus Walker.
I'd say so, yeah. Just because a lot of people just aren't paying attention like that. So I like him. He's fine. I mean, he's, again, one of these guys that's free. So I definitely agree. It's him and Yannick. And I like both.
Yep. Give me
Both of them
both.
are going to have a lot of volume. I mean,
Yeah, DeMarcus Walker is edge 73, DL 93, 202 overall.
yeah.
I would say Yannick is actually maybe higher than him.
Yes.
Yeah, he's edge 67, DL 87.
That's fine too.
I
Those are
love DeMarcus
Now,
Walker in drafts.
That's definitely a little higher now, but not much. I mean, you're talking he's probably like in the edge 50 range, right? Because most of these drafts occurred
Yes.
before he
Before
actually
he
had a
signed.
team, and
Yep.
so yeah, that suppressed him a little bit.
Yeah, I wanted to look at some of the more recent drafts. Oh yeah, he's creeping into like the, I mean, he cracked the first 100 picks in 48. But yeah, he's going closer to like the 180, 165, 187, 163 in some of these more recent drafts, where the beginning of the offseason he was going like in the 200s to 230 range. So he's moved up about 30 to 50 spots by overall ADP.
Just folks, again, just understand no one is locked in like this show right here.
That's
No
right.
one's done the work like this show right here.
4,300 words of prep in this doc for tonight's episode, and another episode cresting the hill
And another
at
reminder,
about 2+ hours
4 straight years of an episode every single week.
every single week.
Give
folks.
us our respect.
Yes, right. Hey, speaking of respect, 5-star rating and review over at Apple Podcasts really helps us out. We've been getting some 5-star ratings, which are great, but take a second, leave us a written review. That helps more than anything for discoverability of the podcast. And 5 stars on Spotify as well if you like the show. Again, youtube.com/@the-IDP show. The IDP Trade Show will be dropping in the first month of the season. We'll let y'all know when that's coming through. And the IDPshow.com. The paid subscribers are popping over there right now because it is the thick of draft season, boys. So you do not want to draft if you have an IDP league without the IDP Show draft kit that has been updated consistently throughout the offseason with the latest information. So check it out. Just $5 a month. So you want to pop in there, get the ranks, have you a cheat sheet for your draft, and then bounce out before the season. You're not going to want to do that because we've got some
we don't
really, no judgment though, but we've got some really nice resources coming for our paid supporters in season. So you want to keep that sub, but if you want to dominate your draft, theidpshow.com. We got you covered. Next up, boys, John Macri is back with Gary Davenport doing My Guys for the 2023 season next week.
It's going to be a great one.
And then tomorrow, Wednesday, the IDP After Show. They are doing their own flag plants. That's going to be Evan, Jake, Jeff, Aaron, and Jace on the After Show. Yes, shout out Jake Colhagen, doing their flag plants for 2023. And then we'll be back in a couple weeks to do ours leading up to week 1 of the season. And then later that week, you will have the first episode of the Jake and Evan combo doing their week 1 preview, folks. We're almost there. Stick with us. Don't check out now. Plug in. We're going to have you covered top to bottom all season. I'm pumped, boys.
They ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
Nowhere.
Stay right here. Lock in with us. We're going to have 5 episodes per week between the IDP Show and the IDP After Show. You're not getting that anywhere else, folks. Nope. So stick around. We got you covered. And we appreciate y'all. Y'all have been absolutely gobbling up these 2.5 hour episodes. It's our most listened to content we've ever had in the feed. So thank you all. Sincerely, we appreciate our listeners, our subscribers, our viewers, all of the above.
Yeah, there's a reason why we want to continue to do more. Like we are nowhere near our final form. We have so much growth we want to see within this podcast and within this website. So just sit back, relax, enjoy the show, bros.
Enjoy the fireworks, Bobo.
Hey, I'm just glad Adam's still here with us.
Yeah, we're so glad that you're still here.
I need to get out of here.
Yeah.
It's time.
Might have had to plug Connie in to that seat if Addie were to check.
Oh, no.
Shuffle off this
Built
mortal
different.
coil.
Built different.
Can chug a
Doesn't
beer
even matter.
to clear the airway. We'll see y'all here in a couple weeks. Y'all take care.
It's the IDP show. Now you